Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. How the devil are you?
Doing okay. Doing okay. But
Excellent.
I'm excited because this is for a long time the first time Division 1 is full, I believe.
This is pretty cool, right? Like, it's been a while that we've been trying to get Division 1 team signed up, and this time we were actually oversubscribed, so pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, one team too much, right? I think
Yes.
it's only one team that didn't make it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think a couple of teams actually ended up going into Division 2, so we kind of changed the thresholds around, and yeah, that's pretty nice. Hold
Right,
on.
so
We
that's
have
great.
got a bit of a caster surprise ready for you guys. Soon as I figure out how to get this live.
I don't know, your microphone seems a bit funky. I'm trying to figure out. Are you okay, Penny?
I'm okay. I'm a little bit muffled, maybe. Let's say just
Yeah,
a tiny tad muffled.
I mean,
There's a
it's
reason.
not just muffled. It's just a little bit on and off.
A little
So
bit on and off. Okay. It might be that I need to move the mic a bit closer to my massive clown face, which is.
it seems okay.
Hold on.
Now it's just muffled now. So it's good.
Um, do it like this. Okay. All right.
But
Ladies and
you might
gentlemen,
be
welcome to the
needing.
October Nova Cup. We have Mr. Shadowings here with me to cast today for this very special spooky edition of the Nova Cup. It's Happy Halloween, guys and girls.
Yeah, I mean it's. It's not Halloween quite yet, but we can celebrate it still.
How are you feeling
Yeah,
about the games today, Shadow? We've got some pretty good ones on offer.
yeah. I mean, we cannot cover everything on the first round, but in the first round, there's many that needs some attention, I believe. I mean, on other channels, there will be Tropical Baguette against Poop, and that's the closest matchup skill-wise,
Mhm.
because it's seed 8 against seed 9, so that's gonna be on other streams, like the
Yep.
one of Doofus, and I believe Skills might be streaming too. I don't know about Skills, but Doofus is.
Yeah, Doofus for sure will be streaming. I'm not sure about skills. He did last time. He may do this time as well. So there are other streams available. And of course, if anybody wants to see any of the other brackets in action, Division 2, 3, and 4 are also being streamed on various other Twitch channels. So keep an eye out for those. You've always got the special event button down on your bottom left of your menu so you can see where all the other streams are located. And we also have quite a few things going on this month as well, because there's the skin vote competition. Make sure you type exclamation skin vote in the chat and place
Yeah,
your bets for your favorite
quite a
skin
lot of
design.
people have
There's
already voted
16
still.
entries there to choose from. You can place a vote for your favorite three, and the winning design will be added into the game. Very cool.
Be sure to vote for a balloon so that Lisk will be angry at everybody, right?
Exactly, dude. Exactly.
But
Cool.
yeah, the skin competition, we'll have the winner tomorrow announced on the stream. And I mean, every skin is still has a potential to win with additional votes, but there's still one currently ahead. But still, uh, all the chances are still open, and it only relies people to vote to get their favorite skin out there on first place.
Yeah, 100%. And we also have something else interesting going on. So I don't know if you guys have seen the new safety mole announcement from Lisk. So there's going to be like a safety mole plushie that comes bundled with all sorts of in-game goodies. So it comes with essence, it comes with access to the new campaign, it comes with a secret card, and that will go up for sale for a very limited time from the 4th to the 25th of November. If you miss your opportunity to buy it, it's gone forever. But you don't only have to buy it, because we're giving you a chance to win your very own Safety Mole plushie and all of the in-game goodies that come with it. If you're interested in that chance to win, make sure you type exclamation point plushie in the chat. And for those of you who haven't seen it, I will just run a little video here before we start our first game Let's cut to the clip.
Yeah.
Alright. Very cool there, guys. Make sure you type exclamation point plushie. Get yourself entered for a chance to win that very cool looking teddy bear and all of the in-game goodies that come with it. And we are back with the casters now before we get into the game. So Shadow, have you got any ideas of what we might be in for with these two teams? Offma, FTQ, a bit of a new pairing. I haven't seen these guys play together before. They're against No Style and No Balls, who are a very seasoned tournament duo. They're very well known for their Fiesta star play style, which I'm sure you're a fan of, where one of them just goes Fiesta and does insanely long starves, like from wave 1 all the way to wave 8 with a siege ram kind of starves. How do you feel about this matchup?
Yeah, I mean, No Style and No Balls really have their pairing with Cartel and Fiesta, really down to the Paratree style that we all like, of course. But it counts. It comes with a downside. It's like if you don't win early, then all their early investment into pressure really falls off pretty hard. So that's gonna be interesting to see. And if you've ever seen FTQ play, you know that FTQ doesn't really care about you starving him or anything. He's just gonna income send you any type of game, and somehow will come out ahead. Really good at pushing advantages. So if you do a mistake sending to him, you'll feel it instantly. So that's can be something pretty good for Offmine and FTQ. The thing is, if it goes south, then it's going to be very hard mentally for Offma to survive the onslaught of "we're dead" of FTQ. So that's going to be something else to follow.
100%. I must say, when I had this idea to buy a clown mask, I didn't realise quite how stiflingly hot it was going to be. I'm actually melting inside this thing, so guys,
Yeah, but I recommend you remove it for the
this
cast.
thing off. Holy moly!
At least for the cast, I think it's better you remove it.
Yeah,
For
I
the
think it's coming
clarity of
off
the
during
speech.
the cast. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, Offman and FTQ do play quite a lot together. It's part of the pairings that we normally see in Toykin's channel. When there's not a lot of people, they pair up together and they try to get some game in. And I mean, FTQ can pair with anybody of those, same as Offma. So I don't really fear them pulling up together pretty well. I think that it can work pretty well together since they are more towards a scaling approach, and they are in no means bad builders. So long saves against them can maybe backfires, but the Fiesta gameplay can overwhelm most people too. So we're gonna see if that comes true.
Absolutely. All right, guys and girls, here we go. Let me get my hair out of the way. Game number 1 of this special Halloween Nova Cup is underway. It's Offmer and FTQ versus No Style, No Balls. Let's get into game number 1.
So game number 1 of the full bracket of Division 1 will have FTQ with yellow and Offma with greed right from the start.
All right. Oh,
Okay,
man, that was a relief taking that thing off. Holy!
Yeah, your voice is now clearer and quite loud, so
Okay.
might need to adjust that. Uh, but for now, no style and no balls not going for the Fiesta playstyle we know them for, going for the chaos approach in the first game instead. So maybe keeping that trump card in time of needs.
Yeah. And oh, I can tell you why they're playing Chaos, by the way. Pawn Shop, one of the three Legion spells. This pairing is absolutely crazy power level. Like, if you have that Chaos build where you don't know what units you're gonna get, but you're gonna roll something overpowered eventually in the late game, and you have Pawn Shop, you can just sell all of those random things you were forced to build and turn them into, the Doomsdays, the Hellgates, the Hades when you need them in the late game. It's such a strong combo, and No Style, hopefully we can see him make good use of it in this game.
Yeah, and there's a clear avenue that you can counter it with is if you save longer, then the chaos player might be forced to replace their units quite often, and then they lose gold overall still. So you can play that card too if you're off an FTQ. But on round one, only one's not going through, and that's going against Snow Styles.
Oh, yeah, so lucky there for Othma not receiving the snail, and also lucky for No Style with his fire elemental build. I think this is a pretty classic play against No Style No Balls because they are known for their Fiesta play. So if you go for those snails, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna get a big leak on the Fiesta player and give yourself that advantage in the early game. But here, picking Chaos instead on No Style, the snail is just +6 gold for him.
Yeah, it's +6 gold. Also, this fire elemental start can be quite safe at 6 workers too if he gets the right units rolled on wave 3.
Yeah.
So I think this is a very good start for
Oh.
No Style right now.
Look at this, by the way. That snail, the 6 extra gold, you might think, well, it's only 6 gold. How much of an impact can it be? Well, here you see, because that 6 gold was exactly the amount he needed to push his fifth worker as soon as
Plus
wave one
one.
ended. So he's getting an extra, like, 30, 40 seconds worth of Mythium generation. That's pretty big.
Don't forget the +1 of the leak of Ofma. So everything, every star's aligned for No Style this game to
Oh, yeah.
get that fifth worker.
Very true.
And Ofma receiving the second another a Snell here, so the first Snell of the game for him. Testing the Violet. I think this is quite smart from No Balls to test it because if it is a Fiesta, he might have been 6 workers already with an Aqua, and it leaks quite decently to a Snell. So it's nice to check, but now to 6 worker Ofma, quite risky, I believe.
Yeah, 100%. It is pretty risky, but I quite like the play, and it looks like it's going unpunished. No Ball's not resending here on wave 3, so Offma should be completely fine. FTQ, obviously, with his Avenger, very, very safe against anything that No Style could possibly send. I'm a little bit interested about this Dark
Yeah,
Mage here from No Style, though.
I mean, he did roll nothing to go pair with that Firemental, so he was forced to build something, but I did not expect a Dark Mage here out of everything. So maybe a Ranger would have been decent, but still, I mean, the Dark Mage does scale a bit better, but it's quite a funky build right now for it.
Yeah, like you don't normally want those Dark Mages for wave 3. It's more of a late game support unit, but it's fine. And like it's always going to be useful, no matter what he Chaos rolls into, so I think it's a fine play.
Yeah, and as you see, Ofma and FTQ going for this killing approach, knowing that the Stars is going through at least on one of them, so trying to scale, staying true to the identity of how FTQ wants to play the game. And that Chaos build from Nostai really has me questioning a little bit. Not really sure where he's going with that.
Also, something that we haven't actually mentioned yet this game, No Balls has what I think is the strongest opener in the game, just full stop. The Priestess Mask is just a very, very high power level in the early game. But he's weirdly playing it on the right side of his lane instead of the left, which does mean it's harder for him to kite away those big power mercenaries, especially in the late game when you're worried about things like siege rams. So why do you think No Balls might have built on the right side like this? Do you think there's a reason, or is it just a mistake?
Yes, there's a very clear reason, and that's that he has the fertilizer to deal with that big mercenary. So normally the play is to send that big mercenary, and now you think, oh, she's not going to be able to kill it. But with the help of the fertilizer, then you isolate the big tank, and you're able to clear it quite easily. The Assyria tanked, possibly only one or two plus the big tank, and then she's healing up. So you basically nullify part of the sand. That might be a 320 or 400 lithium right off the bat. That doesn't really matter in your sand. So I think it's quite good if you have something to nuke down that tank mercenary.
Yeah, I mean, in theory, that sounds amazing. We'll have to see if it works in practice when we get into that late game stage. But certainly, the way you describe it, Shadow, that sounds like a really good strat.
But the split here from Ofma
Oh, that is
does allow him
really
to leak
nice.
very small in the end. Still a leak, but that was a long save against him.
Yeah.
But as you said, the Priestess early game can pretty much still follow in workers despite saving that long.
Yeah, and FTQ with his lifesteal Avenger fully covering his teammate's leak there. 0 king damage is done, and we're looking at a pretty comfortable position now for both Offma and FTQ. They do have a small worker lead, but what is more apparent is the income lead there, with FTQ 20 income ahead of everybody else in the game.
Yeah, that's the power of YOLO. However, there is a problem for FTQ right now, and that's the Wave 8. Wave 8 is a huge problem for him, and you can bet anything you want that No Style and No Balls have seen it.
Yeah,
Now FTQ
100%.
will require to reroll if he wants to have an answer.
Yeah. What I would say is that it looks unlikely at this stage that No Style will be able to afford something like a Ghost Knight, which would really ruin FTQ's day. But even, like Dinos and Fiends, he's going to struggle with.
Yeah, I mean, maybe another play that FTQ can try is to shift on wave 7 to get the Sovereign. Quite risky, but with all the impact damage he is showing, he can play risky and not build here and still be fine. Let's see if he reads it correctly though.
Everybody's chilling with their Mythium right now.
So let's see, FTQ is still
Is
sitting on his
FTQ going to
240
shift?
gold.
Oh,
No, he's not.
I would love him to just shift his gold here because his units can hold Wave 7 no send easily.
Yeah, and if he would have read the play to go 8 here against both Offma and FTQ, both looking weak on wave 8 despite having the cat, because the cat is strong every wave except 7 and 8, as everybody knows. uh, and so now he'll be sitting with a lot of impact damage. Can still do decent if the Canopy tanks decently in the split.
Yeah.
However, the Fiends are problematic for him.
And as expected, it is only the Fiends coming out from No Style, so not as dangerous as it could have been, but we'll have to see because FTQ currently is 100% impact damage and, in fact, doesn't have any Pierce in his role whatsoever. The second Avenger coming out. This is a very impactful build now.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the importance of keeping the income as long as possible as YOLO. I think this is a bit overkill and would have been way better for him to try and reroll right now to get an answer better than a second Avenger. But maybe he's proving me wrong and it's gonna hold quite easily here, but I don't see it.
I mean, value is pretty good in the game Legion TD2, and he has 965 of that. So let's see if he's able to cope with this. Again, it is a pure impact build against a pure Swift wave with pure Swift tanks, and we'll have to see if that
I
is
want
enough. It
to
looks like it is
emphasize
not.
on the fact that Offma boosted an Orchid to deal with that pack leader, and he's going to hold that
Gonna
sand
hold
here.
just
That was
barely,
quite
so
big.
a boost well spent there for Offma. FTQ actually doing pretty well. He will leak, but it's not bad. 51%, but again, only an income send there from No Style.
Yeah, I mean, if he spent one income to get a Pierce unit, he would have held quite easily. Looking at how well he held that with those units, a little bit of Pierce would have gone a long way here for him.
Yeah. He has rerolled actually, and he did find the Sky Queen, but maybe that was too late for him to build it there on 8.
No, he rerolled during wave 8, so I think the reroll was just mistimed here for if he wanted the second Avenger and then rerolls. Uh, and he's still keeping the Avenger. I think it's just the wrong timing of rolling for him. I
Yeah,
think that was the only thing.
yeah, fair enough. He also found the Cursed Casket, so 2 Pierce units now for FTQ.
Yeah, that's gonna help him on wave 12. Flower Casket's gonna be pretty strong for him, and that's probably the next target for No Styles and
Oh,
No Balls. Looking at the build, so.
oh, Shadow. Oh no.
You know what this means, right?
I mean,
You
this
know what this means.
this is just the sort of gameplay that makes me so sad in my ladder games. When I'm playing
No, no,
against a
no.
Chaos player who's plus
This
200
is
value
going
every
to be a
wave.
wave 15 sand.
Oh man.
Yes.
Oh man. Overbuild and starve.
I mean, the sands here from Offman FTQ are full. Um, we're gonna
Yeah.
have those style holding quite easily with the Daphne and Zeus combo and a lot of
No Balls has a
things.
Fatalizer, so I'm pretty certain that he'll hold as well. I guess there's a chance if the Mimic gets onto that Fatalizer really quickly, but I think he should just be able to hold with this.
The Mimic has a chance to go on that side, because there is some Snells and the boss goes here. No, everything goes on to the priestess. Okay. The Mimic is getting
Fatalizer is
sniped here.
killing the Mimic. The Fatalizer is on the Mimic, so that is down. It does mean it didn't ramp on the boss, but I think it just doesn't matter. The Fatalizer is so strong against this Wave 10 boss, absolutely shredding him. So an easy hold there for No Balls. No Style, actually looking a bit closer, though. I think he has just enough damage to kill the boss.
Yeah,
He does.
just
Very
enough.
close, though. And they actually go for 11 send.
Wait. 11 is definitely not the play here, but looks like Nobles is going solo here.
Okay. So maybe that's why No Style is just saying...
Wait,
Oh,
that's going to be Lizard Army and not Pawn Shop despite having Chaos.
okay. Well, I said I liked his Chaos pick with the Pawn Shop. I like it much less with Lizard Army, but I
And they
guess they
are
have a
going
plan.
full on 11. They are going full on 11 here.
It's full and it's post-income full, so this really has to get some work done now against FTQ and Offma, because if they don't leak huge here, yeah, this play is going to backfire badly for No Style No Balls.
Yeah, I mean that is still quite massive sense. The ogre is indeed in on the Haven, which means
Yeah.
the Haven will die, but I mean the wave is already taking so much damage from it.
I mean, the Ogre dies before the Haven does. I think that looks like a hold on Offma. FDQ, now he did build a full death cap here, and the Ghost Knight is extremely good against a death cap on wave 11, so 83% leak there for FTQ. Offma, though,
It's gonna leak a little bit.
he's going to leak like 1 creep?
Yeah.
Okay.
But now you have Lizard Army. So what's your next option? Do you resend on FTQ? You see the death cap, so might not be their best option. You see
Yeah.
the Haven as well, so I don't think 12 is the option. So either they go 13, but they would need to push quite heavily, but they got saved on. Or they just say fuck Lizard Army and just go for wave 15 or 16.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not feeling this Lizard Army post-income send. They got some work done. They did shave a lot of HP off that King. But like you say, now they just have to feed the Lizard Gold to Offma and FTQ, and they can't really make good use of it because on 13, Offma has Orchids, FTQ has Lifesteal Avengers. I don't know, man. It feels like they got a bit of work done, but because
Yeah.
that didn't win the game outright on 11, it now just feels like they're pretty far behind against Offma and FTQ.
I mean, there is an avenue that could work, but it could only work if Offmine FQ would have overpushed.
Yeah.
And that is the pressure of the Lizard Army to say, okay, they're now sending 13, so we need to send 13 as well to match them. But Offmine FQ, what they did here was quite smart. They saved up part of their gold, which means they can they can build up big units that are good on 13 and skip it, and aim for the 14 sand that could be quite powerful against what Nobles has.
Yeah. And FDQ actually fully shifted here on wave 12. A resend would have leaked him at least, but probably wouldn't have been worth it. Now, Offmer and FDQ continue their save here into wave 13, so I wonder if they just want to force the issue on 14, where they're both looking
Yes.
pretty strong.
Yes, and that is exactly what No Style and Nobles don't want to happen. They skip 13 as well because they. Oh no, okay, they go for King Ups instead. So
Okay, the good old Lizard Army King Up strat.
I think it's just I mean, I understand their plan if they would have saved here because they say, okay, we force Selfman FC to send 13, we defend it quite well, and then we can go for 15, where it's something that FTQ is quite weak on, as well as Ofma. But now you got the King Ups. Now do you go for that 14 match as well, or do you skip it? Now it's becoming a little bit more of a guessing game and not something you want to force.
I actually think No Balls, No Style are pretty decent on 14, and No Style did skillfully roll the Badger with his Chaos, so that's pretty solid there. He also
I,
has the Sovereign option as well.
Gonna be honest with you, I don't think the Badger is quite the right play here on 14 because what do you expect here on this wave? Either Impact Mercenaries or Pierce Mercenaries,
Yeah.
which means that the value of the wave damage is way less than those of the Mercenary, and so you want to build more towards the Mercenary send at this point since it was a long save.
Yeah. Now, No Balls is just putting his gold into these Iron Maidens, which I think is pretty solid. He's undervalued by 200, which is not terrible. He maybe lacks a bit of damage, but I think what these guys are hoping is they know the send is coming. They probably know they're going to leak, but they just want to accept it. They don't think they're going to die. They have got full king upgrades, and now
Yeah,
they save their Mythium. So
full king is crucial.
unless they take overwhelming king damage here, the pressure has kind of gone back the other side, and No Style No Balls now have the Mythium advantage.
This is a very decent hold here for No Style here,
Oh,
leaking.
he
Oh, the
just
mole
misses
almost
the mole
dying.
kill. Yeah.
But
Exclamation point
everything
Plushie
is
in the
low.
chat if you want your safety moles to survive on 1 HP as well.
Like everything is so low here. It's very minimal damage they take, and so now the pressure's on FTQ and Alpha, and they go for that 15. Not quite sure I like this, even though it was the play I envisioned after the 13 cent. But it looks like they're still going for it, and I think it's still a quite decent choice here with the flower and the sol rings on
Yeah,
FTQ.
yeah. This Ocean Templar is just very awkwardly positioned, I think, for FTQ. I
I
mean,
mean,
fine, it's
it,
buffing
it
some
buffs
high value targets.
it buffs the units you want to for this wave. Ocean Templar reclaims value at wave 20 only afterwards, so you probably just want it on units you know you're gonna use right now that are quite impactful. So literally sometimes, but yeah, I think this is still correct as position. And the boost from Ofma is correct as well, but the DTs to counter it.
Now, the Ghost Knight not really doing his job there after being sent into the split. Bulk of the wave is attacking the octopus is there. It is now tanking his ranged damage, actually, and killing the Sky Queens. So maybe the Ghost Knight doing his job after all.
I mean, it's doing part of the job, and I mean, it's
Half
not the
Malik's pretty
ideal.
big. FTQ's doing very well, though. Now his Sovereign pops up, getting a ton of damage in with the slaps. It will go down, I think, or no,
Yeah,
or
I mean,
just
just
barely.
barely.
But FTQ holds his lane. This is pretty big. Nice
But
hold
yeah,
there, FTQ.
the kiting of the Ghost Knight really helped the Sovereign situation. It's his big unit, and he protected it with the lifesteal and also the Ocean Templar. So aiming everything he wanted for this wave. So quite a nice adaptation here for him.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, now the pressure is back on the other foot. This is such a back and forth game. First,
Uh,
Opera and FTQ make it maybe a too early send, then vice versa from No Style, No Balls.
uh,
And we're pretty head and head. Jules is giving it a
no,
50-50.
you're missing something, Penny. We have a suicide on Nobles and a suicide on Offmas, so Offma and
Whoa.
FTQ are in the correct sending order here to make it happen.
Okay.
So Nobles is going to push full on the workers against Offma, who is pushing full, so correctly reading the situation. that he needs to push for away 17 cent against No Style,
Yeah.
which who has the boar, at least one of them, and now has the antlers to give time for his ranged
I think
DPS.
they should see it now because Offma's going to leak here to Nosen. So they
Yeah,
should
but
probably read it, but I don't know if they will. And it's kind of
no
too late.
Nobles is
Nobles has
keeping the
already pushed
push.
too much. Yeah.
Yeah,
But No Style is still on 16 workers. He's going to be very high valued here.
I mean very high value, but he's still decently under. FTQ has more workers and has decent value as well. Has 100 more income as well, so he's gonna be equal value to No Style, despite having more workers.
Alright, so Offma continues to suicide. Noble's also continuing to suicide. I would have liked to see him stop the suicide and, just actually build a little bit, because it can make the difference if you know that your opponent is suiciding as well.
I mean, right now, it's a question of, okay, I need to make sure that the League of Wolfmai is big enough for FTQ not to hold in the middle, or to
Yeah.
at least do more damage faster to the king. So I think they want to win through Wolfmai's lane, and not necessarily through FTQ's lane right now. So they made a decision, and now they just want to all in onto it and hope that No Star doesn't do too bad here on this wave.
Yeah. But the thing is, so No Style has the most value in the game by about 200, but he's also receiving double the send compared to FTQ. So I think it's a big ask for No Style to be able to hold on longer than FTQ. In fact, let's zoom out and watch these two lanes side by side. Let's see who leaks first, because this is key now. If No Style can hold out longer than FDQ, chances are they win, but he does not. He leaks very early, in fact. FDQ still has 3 units left alive. This looks like a winning race for Offma and FDQ.
Yeah, this is way too much time here. FTQ holding way too long here compared to No Style, and this means that Alpha and FTQ takes game 1 here.
Very nice. Okay, I mean, it really came down to the wire, this one. Like, it was so back and forth. In fact, if you look at the win probability graph, you can see it just up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, and then whoop, all the way up when Offmer and FTQ win there on wave number 17. So really interesting back and forth between these two teams, and I'm very excited to see what happens in game number 2. Should we have a quick flip through some of the waves, Shadow? Do you want to point out some of the turning points, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, just first thing, it's important to note that the game knows that when you win the game, you have a 100% chance to win the game. So that's something quite good to know.
That's just absolutely insane. I can't believe that. Sounds like fake news to me, dude.
I mean the early game was pretty standard. I mean the long saves didn't really work out, but there wasn't too much. But wave 11 really is what all the mid game really shook things up a little bit. Shook things up. Like wave 11, they got some damage. Then the Lizard Army was a little bit of a feeding stuff. And I mean 12 and 13, nothing came out of the Lizard Army. But then 14, they both leaked, but still did pretty decently.
Yeah,
But
they
then
took barely any king damage, right?
Yeah, and then already forced the 15 instead of saving a bit longer. And I think this is where No Star and Nobles slacked off a little bit, because you can decide to not go 15, and they go for some king ups, and then afterwards you go for that suicide play, and then Alpha and FTQ, if they want to do it, they need to read it correctly on who it is. So I think it's a way better decision to skip 15 here for No Style and No Balls and go for 17 straight instead in this situation they were in.
I 100% agree. I think if they'd gone straight 17, this would quite probably have been a win for No Style No Balls. Offmer would have had options there. He still has the Haven, so he can be very strong on 17. He obviously would not have suicided if that was the line taken. But I just think, the send would have been 1.5k on wave 17 against Offmer, and I think even with 3 or 4 Banana Havens, he's really going to struggle against a send of that size.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it was close. It was a very close game, as the graph showed, but it could have been a little bit towards the favor of No Star and No Balls with different decisions of their lines of sending, because 11 was a good start. They did go for king on 13, They decided to skip on 14 to have the liberty to dictate the pace afterwards, but then threw it away right away on 15. So I think it was on no style and no balls here to decide what is the correct way to send, and they just misjudged it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think it was a very close game. Could have gone either way. Ended up going in favour of FTQ and Offmer. But pretty nice stuff. All right. The lobby is open. Let me hop into that one. And I am to change my interface just a little bit because I think the caster interface is a little bit small for some of you folks at home. If I pop that up to 125, hopefully that makes things a bit easier for you to see on screen. And we should be ready to get into the next game any minute now.
And we also have the admission in the chat that Lizard Army was not a good decision from Nobles and No Style here from them. So they realized that once they picked it.
Yeah, Pawn Shop would have been so great on the Chaos player. Like it's so insane to be able to just.
That could have been game changer on wave 17 too.
Yeah, it definitely could have. But with no further ado, we don't need to keep guessing. We are into game number 2. No style, no balls against Offmer and FTQ. Let's get it on.
Yeah, and so FTQ not able to take the yellow, Offman not able to take the green. They both go for cash out here, so safe options. And let's see if No Style and No Balls against the wall here decide to go for the Fiesta. Yes, they do, and that's going to be No Balls on it.
All right. So remember from last game, it was No Style who received the snail. So maybe Offmer and FTQ have it in mind that No Style is the Fiesta player, and I wonder if they try snailing him again, whereas No Balls may be able to get away with a clean Fiesta with something like the veteran Pee-wee, for example.
Okay, just imagine the 5-hit plays here. Offmer and FTQ send the snail on No Style the first game, not expecting a Fiesta, to then make them think that they think it's No Style going on the Fiestas normally, and then sending the snail to No Balls on the second game.
Oh, this is just too smart for me, Shadow. Holy moly, that's why we have you on the panel, dude. It's these kind of next-level psychological plays that make you a great analyst.
But no, they go for king ups, so no snails to be out.
Oh, unlucky. No style, no balls, but most importantly, no snails.
So no snails and no balls is not building against a snail sense, so expecting a king up, and so that's very good for him.
Also, really important to point out, No Balls wasn't happy with the Pee-wee veteran Fiesta, which to be fair, I think is a pretty weak opener. Pressed the reroll button and was massively rewarded by finding that consort, which is one of the best Fiesta openers in the game. So good presence of mind there to use his reroll wave 1 pays off for him here with this consort, especially against No Snail.
But I'm going to point out some stuff to you, and now you just try to think of the first thing that comes to mind when you see No Balls roll here. Mm-hmm. So, you ready?
Okay.
Wave 7.
Deep Coiler, maybe?
Wave 8.
Deep Coiler.
Wave 9.
Soulgate.
Okay, so
is this just like free association, or?
I mean, it's just 7 and 8. That is just a little bit risky for him, and the fact that he's forced to build for Dose Wave, he might not have the gold for the Soul Gate.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
So that's the point. Yeah, you corrected the correctly identified stuff, but then you have the gold to make everything happen. Because if Offline FTQ are saving, and they go for skipping 7 and 8, do you have enough gold for the Soul Gate afterwards?
Yeah. Now, 2 things to point out here. Oh, FDQ leaking 114%. I thought he would hold with this Ranger. He must have misplaced that Ranger too far ahead. No. Takes too much damage.
No, that's the sad truth about the Ranger Oniflower. I did the mistake earlier in the year in one of the Nova Cups, and the Ranger is not enough to hold the 40 cent.
Oh, wow. Okay. I mean, I was about to say, kind of a lost trade for No Style No Balls, because obviously No Balls leaked 75% there to the Snail resend on 2. Whereas I thought Offmer and FTQ were both holding their Dragon Turtle resends, but boy was I wrong. FTQ, they're leaking over 100%.
But yeah, I mean, it's no matter the positioning of the Ranger, there's no way to only make it tank the DT. But even if it only tanks the DT, it's not killing the DT fast enough for the
Yeah.
flower to kill the wave. So it's
Well,
it's just a little bit underwhelming that a 55 gold unit
yeah.
doesn't really do that work.
Yeah, reasonable. No Balls did full resend into Offmer on wave 3, 60 Mythium. Offmer turned his Grawl into a Cage of Pain, actually, so very easily holding that 60 resend there for some juicy extra gold, while No Balls leaking once again pretty heavily to the double snail resend. Now, you obviously identified that he has nothing for magic waves, and you were worried about wave 7 and 8, but wave 3 turned out to be the problem.
I mean, yeah, wave 3 is another wave, but would have been fine with another consort stuff. But yeah, I mean, any type of magic damage wave would have been dangerous for him. But now at 8 workers, trying to make use of his 4, 5, and 6 strength here. So we'll see how well it does.
Absolutely. All right. Nobody sending Mythium on wave number 4. We do have some almost starting to look scary numbers on the board here. No Style might be able to reach 100 for those magical imps on 5. Looking decent, actually, against FGQ. But a Hermit could do
And
work as well.
Nobles holding here. We have brutes all around here, but no style not sending quite. And I
No
believe
Style
this will
holding
be
his
imps
Mythium.
after income.
No. Oh, surely not. I think if you skip the Hermit against Double Flower, then you probably are just going wave 6, right? Or maybe even longer. I don't think you would avoid Hermit in favour of Imps just to go post income. I think that's not the best play.
I mean, it's not the best play, but your ally is sending full here. And looks like he is indeed not going for wave 5 here. So let's see if he's able to hold this 100 cent here with the gun.
Yeah.
So the gun did not tank here the boss on wave 5, which means that all the tanks took too much punishment.
But
And
he's
then
doing
it will
okay.
leak. I mean, it will leak at 6 workers here to be
Yeah.
fair. So he was hoping for a hold here. No Ball is doing pretty well with his 8 workers.
Now on 10, by the way. And
Now
here
on
comes
10
that
because
send
he
from
has
No
that
Style.
deep quota.
Yeah.
He has that deep quota.
Here comes the send from No Style. It is a wave 6 send. Only income, though. The Drake has been buffed lately and very good against everything on FTQ's
I mean,
board.
the Drake is the best power merc there is here because it
Oh.
receives bonus income compared to other power mercs.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a fair point. Now, FDQ going for a second Daphne. I mean, it's Swift armor, we can say that, but probably not the ideal build here. He did unfortunately have something like 184. Oh, he's even shifting 50 gold. He's going to be in so much trouble here.
Yeah, I mean, he needs to guess, right? At this point, he skipped 5. Does he go 6? Does he go 7? He's not looking great on 7 either. So he just made the assumption that it's going to be 7 since Offma received, and need some cover probably on 7 or 8 with a casket. Casket on 8, probably the best option to send on, but still
Yeah.
doing pretty well FTQ.
65% leak there, but surely Offma holds against the double Dragon Turtle send. Surely.
No,
Oh.
no. I mean, with
Oh.
caskets, very hard.
He's doing pretty fine though. Like he kills 5 of the creeps, obviously both of the dragon tails, leaks 1 on half HP. I think he's fine with that, especially to have 0 pressure on him now. And Offner and FTQ, the pressure is definitely on their favour at this point. 150 Mythium on the side of Offner, over 100 now on FTQ as well. Let's see if they decide to send 7, or will they save a little bit longer?
I mean, looks like there's gonna be a send here from Nostal and Nobles, but Offman FTQ are saving. I mean, the casket. You're sending against casket here on wave 7. I mean, I don't expect Offma to leak.
No.
If he does, I'll be very, very surprised and say Cage of Pain is very, very bad as a unit, especially with lifesteal. But I don't see him leaking.
I,
FTQ might leak to the resend though, not having the best units.
I do think that's a very, very low value butcher there for Offma. It's only buffing one Cage of Pain, right? Like, you really want your auras to have a bit more value than that, but I guess he doesn't really have the units to put onto a butcher.
I mean, yeah, it's a low value, but it's the correct unit to buff on this wave, and
Oh, did you
the
see
butcher
that?
doesn't.
The Cage of Pain, when its spell lands, it just heals for 149.
Yeah, I mean that's the wave 7 with a
Yeah.
lot of units.
So it's an easy hold there for Offma. FDQ, actually, against the 80 resend, he's leaking
Right.
4 little blobs. I think he's pretty happy with that.
I mean, yeah, and the addition of the Wanderer just giving that extra time to the flower to just do their work, because Wave 7 doesn't have a lot of HP because it does its ability,
Yeah.
and so once you're down to the little blobs, then the Daphnes are
Yeah.
much more tanky than they appear.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we wondered when it would come. The answer is wave number 8. So we have an ogre and a brute against no style. We have a pack leader and snails against no balls. I will say that the lack of a mole or hermit means that this deep coiler is just going to go absolutely ham on the wave, two-shotting everything. And in fact, no balls building against wave 9.
Yeah, but there's a split. The split will turn onto the quarter quite fast here. That's the danger of building a split with Coiler.
Oh, and even the pack leader on it, that deep coiler is just getting completely run down. This is going to be a really big leak for nobles. He does kill
And
the
not
pack
only
leader,
for nobles.
fortunately.
Not only for nobles.
Not only for nobles, it looks like No Style's going for a little bit of a leak as well. He does kill one more Cobra, but that's all she wrote. 59% for No Style, 83% for nobles. And we're going to get a decent chunk of king damage in here on wave number 8. 17 creeps reaching the king.
I mean, the big damage here is No Style, just not able to follow on workers, trying to cover for nobles, but not able to do so, and so now he's struggling in workers, 9 workers right now,
Yeah.
and 12 on nobles. Even with Fiesta, not able to put out the pressure with the workers.
Yeah, and it's not just the worker difference, it's also the income difference, and it's also a massive king HP difference there with 50% more HP clearly on the side of Offma and FTQ. Jules only giving them a 58% advantage. I think it's a little bit more in their favor.
The big reason of that percentage is that, first of all, No Style is currently overbuilt. The second, No Balls is saving Mithium for years.
Yeah,
He
true.
did not send on wave 8.
When do we expect
So
it to come
the
then?
pressure
Like, is this going to be a 10 or 11 send? Like, FTQ looks super vulnerable to something like a ram on 11, but No Style has no chance of getting to
It is
320 Mythium.
they want to have 11. They want to have 11 for sure. There's no aggressive spells though. But that's why No Style is currently overbuilding, is because they want to reach that 11 point.
Yeah.
And the gate here, FQ is not leaking 11 whatsoever. I'm pretty sure of it now.
Oh.
I mean, it does work well against the flowers, but once you see the second gate come in on wave 11, it's very, very hard to leak it to anything.
Well,
Here.
I'm certainly not with the amount of Mythium that No Style
Yeah.
has, right? Like, you need a much bigger send than, say, 200 Mythium to be able to get through what FTQ has, especially when he almost certainly picks Hero to put it on that flower gate circle.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if they skip 11, where do you want to go? Yeah,
They go 11, but realizing how strong FTQ is there, realizing he doesn't have enough Mythium to make a dent, No Style just goes for an income send. I think that's fine, but it's...
I mean, he needs to hold. If he doesn't hold, it's over.
Yeah. They're in a bit of a rough spot, No Style and Nobles. They're both undervalue. They do have Hero, which is something. We have Starcaller, Gate, Hero. Pretty strong, actually. Pretty strong combo.
Yeah, I mean, I like the composition of No Balls. No Style is gonna go for the Guardian Angel on the bunk, so they do have a decent chance to hold here on wave 11.
Yeah.
Values is not bad, the units are good. I mean, if they
Nobles
survive
send the
this...
Centaur here on 11. Sorry to interrupt, Shadow. I just saw that one out of the corner of my eye. Centaur Hermit against Offma. I don't know how I feel about that one. Obviously, he's going to be a bit sad when he sees the Lord of Death.
Yeah, I mean, didn't know about the yellow D. Would have been nice to send against no magic damage, but he has magic
Hmm.
damage. I think the Centaur is a bit undervalued onto builds that don't have magic damage, because it's a very decent tank still. But with
Uh,
magic damage, it's just melting, of
it
course.
died pretty quickly. It also didn't do very much damage because it spent its whole time doing splash damage against full fortified Leviathan Tempest Circle. Nobles, we said he was looking strong with the gates, but he actually leaks 100%. Luckily, no style holds, and he still has quite a few units mid, actually. So I think that's enough for them to survive, but they're
I mean, the
really
gun
far
needs to
behind
not tank.
now.
The gun needs to not tank.
Yeah, I think the gun should be fine. There's much shorter range units there. It's
Yeah,
actually doing very little
tanking
damage because it's
partially.
so far away from the wave. But the chieftain keeps it alive. He's going to get a bit more
Yeah,
damage
this.
in. They're just so far behind though, Shadow. If you look at the worker situation, 18 on both Offmer and FTQ. More, well, only a little bit more income to be fair, not very much, but they're both three workers clear, and
Yeah,
they have a 50% King HP advantage.
yeah. Now what needs to happen is probably 13. 13 over off my FTQ. Would have loved to see FTQ push a bit more, but as you can see, the build from Nobles is lacking one important detail. Can you spot what that is?
On the side of FTQ,
On Nobles, sorry.
on Nobles,
Nobles.
there's one important detail. It would be the complete lack of arcane units.
No, it's just lacking frontline. So
He
the
is
gates
lacking
don't have any
frontline, yeah.
time. So 13 is still a good option against Gate just because of that reason. Also, you see FTQ and Alpha push to 22 workers. No Style No Balls at 15 trying to get past that wave 13, shifting Gold here to maybe bait it a little bit.
Mm,
However, the Mythium generated from offline and FTQ will be too big, I believe. I don't
no.
see the build from No Style holding 13, and FTQ sending correctly here with the Imps.
Yeah, this is looking pretty dangerous now, and Noble's in fact looking like he's almost leaking to no sense. So
Yeah, but that's what they want because they shifted full here on wave 12.
yeah. Okay, so we have one Hellgate on the side of Nobles. He presumably just built something like an Antler or maybe a Disciple. Possibly
I
the
think the
Disciple.
Antler.
Yeah,
I think the Antler is better.
I think the Antler for extra meat shield is good. He actually goes for a
Oh,
Halo though.
yeah.
Yeah, I totally see what you mean. Like his gates are just going to get run over. They're only going to get two or three spawns out before they die to this big 400 send from FTQ.
I mean, don't get me wrong. If they survive, they are catching back on the lead. So they caught up to their winning possibility. So I think this is their one of the only chance they have to win.
Yeah.
But God, they just don't have the build for it.
And these gates, they are getting overwhelmed, as you suggested, Shadow. So without those frontline units, Nobles, even though he's on paper strong this wave, is going to end up leaking big, and his teammate No Style leaked 100% there. Nobles 62, and that is a quick 2-0 actually from the side of Offma and FTQ.
I mean, the first game was quite close, maybe a bit rattled for it. Tried to go with their trump card, played it a bit out of
Uh,
how they normally do. Uh, like they send quite a lot onto Offma, especially having a growl here. Like not realizing it's a growl that's gonna transform to something else on wave 3. Still sending full instead of
yeah,
applying pressure.
it's a bit of a weird one. That's not how they normally play. They normally go for these like extreme long starts with Fiesta, and
I mean,
maybe they should have stuck to their guns.
if no balls went for the pressure play here, realizing okay, he's gonna change the growl onto something on wave 3. He's gonna see what he builds and then send accordingly afterwards. That's gonna be more typical of how no balls normally plays.
Yeah,
And normally that's how you want to play against the growl. Okay, like you try to pressure 1 and 2, you wait and see what he has, and he has to have a beginner. Because if he doesn't have a beginner, the growl is kind of lost, right?
yeah, absolutely. And if he had just skipped that wave 3, maybe gone for, say, wave 5, Offma's looking pretty weak there, especially against something like, I don't know, Hermit and a Brute or something of that nature. Like, he could have got some real damage done, I think, on wave 5. And probably No Style could have as well, with a Hermit or Imps of his own there. So, yeah, a bit of an uncharacteristic income early game from Nobles on the Fiesta, and maybe ends up backfiring against them, especially with these massive leaks from No Style and Nobles on wave 8. And from there, they were just really fighting uphill. Like, they tried to make plays on 11, didn't really work. In fact, they just took a bit more damage themselves. And then we saw this big, hard push from Offer and FTQ into a game-winning send there on wave 13. So very well played to those guys. They do take the series 2-0.
Yeah, convincing 2-0. I mean, the first one was close, yes, but quite convincing on the second game,
Yeah.
proving that they are a little bit more consistent here with the Mastermind option.
A little bit more consistent. All right, I see we still have some games underway. How about we hop into the Aviator versus Burnt matchup so that we can see how their round 1 series ends up?
You were waiting for that moment right from the start.
Absolutely. Let me hop in, spectate Aviator.
Yeah, because the other name is too long, right?
It's way too long, yeah. All right. So this
Julian is not caster friendly.
Julian is not caster friendly. In fairness, Julian sucks. So this is a matchup between Burnt and Aviator, and they are against a Pew Pew and Derners. Let me just ask them for a quick score checkup. And let me swap the scenes as well, that's important.
Oh, we have YOLO on Julian, Aviator on Cartel. I know he loves his Cartel, and he does have the rats also to try and generate more income in the early game, and it looks like it worked. Yeah, he's at 231 income currently. But they are getting starved quite a bit.
Yeah. Have a Phoenix here with Titan on Burnt. Pretty strong unit.
I mean, that build is so nasty.
Spell. Yeah.
The build is just nasty for Julian. How do you stand against that? You kind of want to have 15 against that. At the same time, you don't really want 15 because of Aviator's build. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do.
Alright, I have confirmation from Julian that this is a 1-0 lead for the side of Burnt and Aviator. So if they win this one, that will be a 2-0 series. Let's see if a Pew Pew and Derners can bring one back and make it a tied series. They do have a big Mythium lead, actually. Nearly 400 Mythium saved on both of them.
Yeah.
And there is a leak here on a Pew Pew as well, giving them a bit more time. But when do you send against Aviator and Burnt?
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. Like, if you kind of want 15, but the split from a PP is what killing him right now. The Fire Archer killing all of his DPS in the back. So it is, yeah, I mean, 15 is probably their avenue.
I don't think you do want 15. Like, on 15, Aviator has Lost Chieftains, buffing a Titan, green, what will be a Green Devil at that point. It's just going to have tank for days, and Burnt has Phoenix, which I don't know if you've played much with the new Wave 15, but Phoenix is just broken there. Like, the unit just never dies against the split shot. It always split tank, so it's always doing like plus 100% damage, and it's just not fair. Like, the unit is broken on 15.
Yeah, but at the same time, can you afford to skip 15 right now?
Well, I was thinking
yeah,
that
the build
maybe
of FTQ and their nerves is not looking that good for them.
I was thinking that maybe they would go 14 rather.
And 14 is a possibility. However, you see all the Kingpin, the Salt Ring. It's gonna be 14, but it's gonna be a tough cookie to break here on Julian's lane.
Alright, and actually a Pew Pew going for the Pro League again. His Dark Mage just picking off that last Drill Golem, so he only leaks one creep.
Dark Mage MVP.
Dark Mage MVP, but Burnt and Aviator going for a full send themselves, realising that their opponents are pretty starved now in this game. So they go for the full send rather than that income king, thinking that they can just win the race.
Yeah, Aviator own value currently, and we have the infamous slime spam here from Julian. There is not going to be any kind of centaur, which means that the 4 eyes will get stuck on those slime quite
Yeah.
often, quite a long time.
Now we have to see if his even heighted high up boss split here is enough to pull both 4 eyes to the right. If one 4 eyes goes on the Phoenix, he might end up leaking pretty badly. But if they both go right, I think he just holds. And they do both go right, okay. And now we
And
just see
look,
this Phoenix is just never dying. And deal a ton of damage. That's an easy off
so
tank
much
there.
time, so much time given to.
Huh?
But the Sovereign died before the spell, and the Phoenix is not doing the
Yeah.
best damage on this wave, so this is still a leak here on Julian.
Still a leak. Aviator, though, looks like an easy hold for him. Daenerys, 82%.
Pew
APQ,
pew!
he is holding, though. But just barely. Just barely. He
Yeah.
won't cover anything in the mid. Meanwhile, Aviator probably just full holds this. And the side of APQ, they're going to take a bit of king damage here.
So Epipew did hide the Divine Blessing for that specific moment, did lose it, and that's gonna lead to
Well, there is a
how much
bit
king
of king damage
damage?
on Burnt and Aviator, but I mean, it looks like they were just saving for a very long time on Pew Pew and Daenerys, and yeah, when you save for that long and get just a tiny little scratch against the enemy king, it's looking pretty rough for you, I've got to say.
But we are looking at a proactive play here from Epipew and the nurse here. Epipew pushing quite aggressively, the nurse as well. So this is a double suicide angle, it looks like. For 16 stand?
I mean, it has to be, right? And maybe they can catch Burnt and Aviator off guard.
You don't have more all-in than this. Look at the values and look at the wave we're in.
Yeah, I mean, I think they might just die to no send here, actually.
No, I think 15 does not do enough damage for that. But I mean, they're leaking to no send. One of them is leaking to no send for sure.
Yeah.
And so Julian and Aviator is gonna spot here the thing that 16 is their play because this is looking like Leak City.
Yeah. And in fact, they are both leaking to no send. So
yeah,
the
and
suicide
it's
play
not a
could
small
be-
leak.
could not
It's
be more
not a
obvious.
small leak.
It's not a small leak, and even though Wave 15 doesn't really do much king damage these days, they're going to take some of it here. They have no king upgrades.
Yeah, I kind of understand that play. They want to be proactive and want to go 16. However, I mean, you at least want one person to train delay, right?
Yeah. Now they're on 7% king HP. Burnt and Aviator, of course, somehow managed to spot the suicide play, go for a full send of their own.
I mean, it's an insane read from them, honestly.
I mean, that's why these guys are, top of the ladder, right? Just their ability to make those really subtle reads of game state, pretty clutch.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I would have been able to read that, honestly.
Yeah. And now, if we look at values, Burnt and Aviator, both above 4K, and Julian, he's building the strongest unit in the game for Wave 16. It's Consort. Let's go.
He's practicing. He's practicing for the new campaign, trying to beat you more easily.
And yeah, I think with Burnt and Aviator being both more than 1,000 value ahead of their opponents, and actually sending kind of similar Mythium amounts, this one looks really rough for Pew Pew and Daenerys.
The nurse at Pew Pew. I mean, valiant attempt with the long save. Just didn't quite hit the spot here against Aviator.
Yeah.
Victory. I mean, good utilization of the Divine Blessing from Pew Pew to try and delay 14 and say, okay, we can make something happen on 14.
Yeah.
However, they just didn't have enough workers for that. The leaks were too much earlier.
Yeah, 100%. All right, so we do get that 2-0 lead on the side of Burnt and Aviator. They make it through to round two. We will have a 10-minute break before we go into the second round, Shadow. So maybe we can talk about a couple of things just before we do that. And for that benefit, anyone who somehow managed to miss the start of the stream, you're in luck, because now you can have a quick look at our fantastic Halloween Nova Cut outfits. Shadow
Yeah,
there
Penny,
dressed
I
as a
don't think the
very
stream can hear you
scary
well.
pirate captain of the dreaded vessel Starve-Lord. And my costume got lost in the post, unfortunately, so I wasn't able to wear anything for the stream today. But hopefully you guys will be happy with Shadow having a costume, even though I didn't have anything available. This is just my natural beauty shining through as always.
Yeah, I don't think they heard quite well what you said here.
Oh man, I gave a really long speech, and the fact that I'm wearing this thick latex mask means that you guys can't hear me. Can you hear me now, Shadow?
Yeah, but it's on and off again, like the
On and
beginning.
off, on and off. Okay, I mean, I sacrificed for my art.
I'm
What can I
sorry.
say?
I tried to tell you right at the beginning, but you kept talking, so...
Oh no. Okay. Shadow, can you give us an R?
What do you want me to do? What?
Shadow, can you give us an R?
R.
Oh, very nice, very nice. If I hold the mic under my mask, does that work?
No.
Okay, very good. I see this this bit is working very, very well. Okay, hold on. All right, now I assume you can hear me.
Yes, I can. I'm sorry, it was very hard to follow you. I'm very sorry.
That's very reasonable. I'll wear my mask on my head. This is fine. This is exactly the way I wanted this bit to go. So, Shadow, we will have a quick 10-minute break. But before we go, Shadow, have you ever wanted to own a piece of Legion TD history?
Yeah, but that's quite hard to get, no?
I mean, sure, until now, but Shadow, you're in luck, my friend, because you and everybody else in chat has a chance to win their very own Legion TD Safety Mole plushie, along with all in-game goodies that go with it. Let's roll the clip.
Oh, wow.
Alright, that is very cool, guys. Exclamation point plushie in the chat for a chance to win that exciting in-game and in real life bundle as well. Don't forget it's actual merchandise. We will take a break now, 10 minutes, I think, Shadow, before round two. And I'm going to leave you guys with the skins from the skin design competition. Make sure, if you haven't already, to go and vote for your favourite entries. There's 16 contestants going through to this final vote. So the winning design will be added into the game as a skin that you can all purchase and equip for your favourite units. So yeah, get your votes in now. The winner will be announced tomorrow. So yeah.
Yep.
See you in a few minutes, guys. Goodbye.
See ya. I think it's as planned. The quack quack one. Yep. Oh, sorry. Uh, I don't know. Did you? It's because I don't have all the results for the first round. We don't know. We don't know about Brassiere Tensar cheese. I mean,
Hello.
Butterboy was
Uh, A lot of lag there. I don't know if that's my end or yours,
Oh.
Shadow.
Should be a bit better.
Yeah, mildly robotic, but it's fine. Right, let me check if our lobby's open.
Alright, that seems to be better. Alright, are you good, Penny?
Let's mute my microphone quickly. So Shay and XGod are still in game number 3, actually, and that will be to decide who goes up to face against Boone and Quacker. So we should
Wait,
probably
they
try and
are
hop
still
into
in game?
XGod's game. Yeah, didn't realise that there were still round 1 games going on. Let's hop into XGod 37's game, see if we can catch the end of that one. Alright, it's XGod and Shay, last month's champions, against the Doomsday duo, Driuzaki and Otika. Oh, we got in just in time to see the victory.
I mean, victory on who?
It was victory for XGod and Shay by 12%. Wow. Looks like a race there on Wave 17. Just barely last month's champions winning against the Japanese Doomsday duo. And I've got to say, like, a massive elo advantage on the side of XGod and Shay. So big props to Driuzaki and Otika for taking this one as close as they did. A Game 3 series into a Wave 17 race against the reigning champions. So very, very well played to the Doomsday duo there.
Do you have news on the side of the game of Bressiert and Sarchis?
I see Kingdowns and Widdowson are on Wave 19, so we can try and spectate that one. I think there's a good chance we see just enough to see the end of that one.
Yeah, during the technical difficulties I had, I tried to ask you about those 2 games. Because we didn't have those results yet.
Alright,
oh,
and we do come in just in time for a victory on Wave 19 as well. So very exciting content here, guys. This is what we're all here to see. Just the victory splash screen, nothing else. The rest is all just bump after all. We do manage to see Kingdowns and Widdowson somehow winning against Qatar Cheese and Sour Jack on Wave 19. Also a Game 3 series. So,
yeah, I mean, you say somehow, but they did manage to bring tournament favorites to 3 games, like seed 16.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what I mean. Like, both of the kind of underdogs really overperforming expectations in those games that we just saw a very tiny clip at the end of.
I mean, the fact that the Summer Cheese did manage to bring Bressiert this far does make me think, make me question of how well they will do against Popeye and Skills here, because in terms of coordination and early pressure, I believe they are both quite hard to beat, Popeye and Skills. So we'll see how they manage. But I think the game we're gonna go for is XGun and Shay here, that just won the 2-1 against Quack Quack Boom. Right?
Yeah, I mean, you can tell from the sound quality immediately that the mask is on, right?
Yes.
All right, we have a lobby open. I can see everybody is here. You can
Yep.
see it looks like the players want to get the show on the road as soon as possible. I'm sure the viewers do also.
Yeah.
All
All right.
right.
So I mean, right now, Xgod and Shay, they've won a lot. No, Xgod won a lot of Nova Cups with Ashton initially, then
Yep.
won one with Shay.
Yeah.
They struggled to make it happen in September, if I remember correctly, and so they tried to make it happen on October. Yet again, trying to take it.
Yeah. So let's see. I mean, X-God and Shay certainly very solid tournament team. Darkwacker and Boone have also had a couple of pretty nice runs in these Nova Cups. So this should be a
Yeah,
really exciting series. We've got 3 legends in the game. Darkwacker, not quite, but I think he has hit legend already this season. Probably now just going for a little dip down into Grandmaster, where the queues are shorter. So who can blame him for that? Ladies and gentlemen, round 2 Nova Cup. It is the Butter Boys on the left side, X-God and Shay, and they are against Quack Quack Boom on the right hand side. Let's get game number 1 underway.
so right now, while the people are choosing their mastermind options, we're gonna have Pulverizer Punch Up, so Chaos might be an option, and Giant Snow. So, but right now it's gonna be the Redraw Quacker, the Quacker special, with Boone on Cash Out, Shay on Cash Out as well, and Xgod playing a lot of Cash Out in the ladder. Will he continue doing it despite Shay going for it?
Remember, it's conquest mode as well for Division 1 teams. So once they win with a given mastermind option, they can't pick it again. They have to diversify. So if we have these kind of mastermind spammers on the ladder, like let's say they only play Cash Out or they only play Fiesta, well, Nova Cup forces them a little bit out of their comfort zone. They have to pick options that they're maybe not so comfortable with.
Someone call Ashton. Someone call Ashton right now. He needs to be in the chat. And now we need to see the question marks for Xgod YOLO. We know that Xgod has been questioning a lot Ashton for picking YOLO in the past, and now it's time for his revenge.
Yeah. Oh, X-God, actually, he's feeling a little bit cautious here, going for a Windhawk and a Serpent Star rather than just the Windhawk, not willing to leak here on wave 1.
I mean, they have low worker starts, so that's kind of what he's aiming for. Low worker starts, doesn't really want to have extended waves. Shay with the gun wants to protect it with slower waves, so with shorter waves. That's the correct word. But Quacker going for the Crusher.
All right. Nothing massively exciting happening here. We do see that Boone didn't send on wave 1, so has the potential to pressure X-God. Still doesn't go for the wave 2 send either, so I wonder if he wants to try something like a Fiend on 3.
I mean, Boom did send on wave 1. He has 2 treasure hunts, so...
Oh, okay. I was confused there by how much Mythium he has. You're completely right. He did send on one. But yeah, the pack rat's just giving him way more Mythium than anybody else in the game.
So, I mean, Boone could have sent a 60 on 2, decided against it, only getting the income early, and even now doing an extended wave with the Ranger edition here.
Yeah. Really nice play there from Boone. If he wanted to, okay, he's gone for a Dragon Turtle. I was going to say he could quite easily send Dino post-income.
I mean, that would have been the end of Exod here with Dino sent here.
Yeah, Dino
I mean,
would have
how
just
does he
ripped
kill
him
it?
apart.
I mean, double DT is not bad either. Still a lot of HP to go through. And each DT is going to be tanked by tanking one of the units, I believe, with that positioning.
Yeah.
I mean, double DT is nothing to be laughed at, so it can be quite disastrous against Exod 2. And there is indeed a split aggro on the DT, so maybe in the long run it's going to be better than the Dino here. Look at this.
Huh? Wow, absolutely shredding him, and one of them survives. 97% leak there for X-God.
Yeah, that's not the start he wanted to have for
I
sure.
mean, it is the start that you want if you're Quacker and Boone, because this game is starting to look pretty nice for them. The gun won't be able to fully cover this either. There will be some king damage here. Wave 3 already.
Yeah, I mean the big thing going for them is that Shay is at 7 workers already. X-God is able to follow at 6, and so the longer wave, despite taking king damage, does benefit the workers in the long run over the rats.
Yep. And we have a pretty big resend actually. X-God Dino coming out against Dark Quacker's lane, looking very strong against what he has actually. Now this
And
5-stat Nekomata, it is the magic number, what you normally want to 2-shot wave 4. The problem
but
is, yeah, we have
that's a
Boone.
nice adaptation here for Quacker, but that I don't like. The what you need to protect is the cat and
Yeah.
not the Windhawk.
Yeah, the Windhawk
Um,
does no damage. On 4, you need to protect that cat so that it can kill the wave. But look, this Dino is going to very quickly kill the Bone Archer, go straight onto the cat, and now that cat, which you need to be killing the Windhawks, is just spending all of its time on a Dino. This is going to be a pretty big leak, I think, for Quacker.
yeah, you want them to kill the chickens and not the Windhawks.
Yeah, true. You wouldn't want friendly fire after all.
Yeah. But yeah, the Windhawk at the initial position would have been a shared aggro with the cat and the Windhawk, and would have been a bit better here for him. So I don't like really. I understand you want to protect the Violet because later on the Violet is better, but in the current state of the game, it would have been better to have this Windhawk as a potential share aggro with the cat instead of a full DPS one.
Indeed, and we do have a very small, just a snail there from Shay. He just wanted 6 extra gold for some reason, or maybe he just likes income, who knows. He does have the worker lead, actually. Shay on 7, everybody else in the game on 6.
He needed 1 gold for the butcher, so that's why the snail. And he's at 7 workers, so
I
as
don't
you
really
say,
like the butcher here, though. I think it's really low value. It's only buffing 2 gargoyles and a devilfish. I think he would have been better with just like a green devil.
yeah, but in his mind he's building for both 5 and 6, right? So
Yeah.
that's what you need to keep in mind. And his best option for both those waves is the butcher. The green devil is good on 5, but does struggle on 6. So even if it's a low value butcher right now, he still has the option to build the Avenger in the back, and there's other options as well to use it. So it's more for the tank value that the butcher gives right now, rather than the effectiveness of the aura right now. So it might not be the edge chef position, but just a butcher for early game. By the way, did you change the scene?
Yes.
Okay. I'm still looking at it, and might just be the delay that I don't know exactly how much it is. Because
Yeah, there's the 5-minute delay, so you should see. All right. Oh, a little bit of lag there. And we get some friends on 7 coming out from Quacker against Shay's build. Now, I can see it, maybe, but Shay's going to be so high on value. And Boone going with the friends as well. We did have a Hardened Mudman last wave.
And that's going to be a new one. And 3 brutes is not something the Harbinger wants to see. And also what the pressure Boone applied did is that this is still not a bounty hunter.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a very low stack Kingpin. So I think it's mission successful here for Boone, because he's delaying the Kingpin power spec in the mid game. So they still have options open in the mid game, even on 10.
Absolutely, and there are 3 brutes walking into a lane. Let's see if they can get some damage done. X-God looking pretty low on value, but also, more importantly maybe, pretty low on damage. The only thing that's really dealing out the deeps there is his Harbinger, which is now getting targeted by the brutes. It goes down very quickly, does get the second summon out, but he's still going to leak a decent chunk there. Now focusing a brute, which he'll never kill, 74%. Meanwhile, though, Shay, his partner, is going to be able to hold his own lane. It looks like I think the gun wins the battle against two brutes. It looks like it does, or maybe not. Maybe this is a small leak. It's pretty close, and the brute
Uh,
wins.
the brute win. It's just your friendly neighborhood brute.
And friendly is the right word. If you have a quick zoom in, these are the friendly brute skins. Not so friendly when they start hitting your king, however. Bringing it down, bringing it down. We see king HP dropping to around the 70% mark.
But look at the worker situation here. Excal and Shay going for a bit of a longer save.
Yeah. And actually, if you look at their Mythium, things are starting to look a bit scary for Quacker and Boone. We have over 200 for both Xcod and Shay, who also have a pretty decent worker advantage. Look at this, 8 workers, 11 workers versus only 6 apiece for Quacker and Boone.
And normally, with those kind of worker push, you don't normally see good value. But look at the value still. Where despite having those workers, Shay especially, 11 workers and still on value.
Yeah. But Quacker and
That's
Boone
double the
still
amount.
overvalue, actually, so that's kind of looking good for them. In fact, Boone can still hunt his pack rats. He's not feeling too pressured, even with long save.
Oh my god, I didn't see that he's still treasure hunting.
Yeah, that's pretty clutch, right? Like, if he's scared off of his treasure hunts while also having 6 workers, that's really bad for him. So the fact that he can still treasure hunt at least one of them is looking okay.
But are they aiming for 10 or what?
I mean, Xgod's just going to pro league here against this 80 income send. And that they just have so much Mythium, Shadow.
I mean, they
think
have a lot of
can go-
Mythium, they're strong 9. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised they kept 9 for 10.
Okay, no,
But
they
no,
go
they
for
go
the
9.
wave 9 send. We have double Ogre and Imp as well from Shay. Sends are going to be huge.
Yeah, but that's gonna be a Violet with Steed here on the side of Quaka. So that's
Violet is,
going to ignore the Ogre. He can harden as well.
he can hold, and
But
Violet's
that
pretty
only
solid.
depends if they read correctly that is wave 9, because if you look at Boone, he is much weaker on 10, so what will he build? It's gonna be an Avenger here
Avenger.
on the side of Quaker in the end.
Okay, so it looks like he's hedging his bets there. He's not building full for wave 9. He's building
And he did
something
not
which... Oh, he
harden.
didn't harden either. Okay, this probably... I mean, they're both overvalued. Look at these values. 1330, 1415. They both have so much value. Oh, we have partial focus on a brute, Shadow. I repeat, partial focus on on an ogre, I mean.
An Ogre as well.
Oh, does he kill it, or is this going to be bad
Nah, he
times
kills
for
it, he kills
Quacker?
it.
He does,
He kills it, he kills,
just
yeah.
barely, though.
I just need to say it
42%
often enough.
Yeah. And Boone leaking only the ogre, so the fact that they're both so high in value means that the leaks, even against these enormous sends, pretty manageable, in fact. They're not going to take too much king damage here.
But can you imagine? They were 6 workers on wave 9.
Yeah, that's pretty rough, actually.
That's gonna be a really scuffed economic game here,
Yeah.
because right now both teams are equal in income still. However, the value will still be in favor of Quaker and Boone because of the long save. So Excel and Shay were lower in value, in income, and so in value. So it's gonna be interesting.
It's certainly a very starved game, and this is clearly your field of expertise, Shadow, so you're going to have to let me know. This is uncharted territories for me, because obviously I just have auto send on in most of my games, so you're going to have to let me know. How do you pilot a course to victory from this point in the game?
I mean, the worker push really becomes very tricky to do. Like, you really need to understand your weak ways really much better, because sands can come really fast in those type of games, because normally people are over pushed for the income they can generate. And units like Kingpins become to have a little bit are having a little bit more values also, because you get an extra value. So
yeah, absolutely.
however,
So when you're in one of those super start games, anything that can cheat out value for free, like Kingpins, like Hydras, become very powerful, right?
So right now the idea of Exile and Shay is probably to go for a wave 12 sand, or just fend off an 11 and go longer. So you really don't want to send often in a starve game as well. so that's something else. And looks like X-God is expecting the 11 cent here, so trying to fend it off. I mean, they
Going for a
are
full
much
harden.
stronger on 12 than they are on 11, so that kind of makes sense. But it's going to be Quacker and Boom just not sending on 11.
And this is quite interesting to me because X-God and Shay, they both take the offensive spell, they both take the snails, and Quacker and Boone both take the defensive option there with Pawn Shop. So kind of
Yeah,
interesting to see how this one plays out. And I think you're right. I think we will see a wave 12 send from X-God and Shay. Quacker and Boone
they
may
want to skip
feel
it.
pressured there. They might want to go for like Income King there.
Yeah, I mean, they want their plan with Pawn Shop is to skip 12 because they see a free win on wave 13. So that's their plan. They want 13.
Yeah.
So let's see if they can keep their nerves or have faith in their value with Pawn Shop to just fend off a send on 12.
Right, well, here comes the send. We have Pack Leader and Snails from both X-God and Shay, and Quacker and Boone, exactly like you say, Shadow. They save their Mythium. They're going to rely on their Pawn Shop, rely on their value to see what they can
It's
do.
very important for them to use the Pawn Shop here. So this has to go. This has to go. The Avenger, the Cat,
Canopy
they
can
have to
go.
go.
Yeah. The Canopy can be turned into Royal Guards or something like this. Like, he has a lot of damage already with the Hades Daphne, both on the APS. Like, he's got decent damage, he just needs better tanks. But Boone actually not using his Pawn Shop and Quacker shifting 79 gold.
Yeah, that's a complete lack of understanding of how a Starve game goes here. They're not used to that type of game, while Exile and Shay were born in it in the NA hours. So
Deep in the Canadian starve mines where they were raised from babes. X-God and Shay understanding the starve meta like none other. 94% on Quacker. Boone, who does have very high value, still going for a leak, however. 57% there, and I have to say, if he used that Pawn Shop, if he sells maybe his Pack Rats, his Canopy, for some better value tanks like Royal Guards, he's easily holding here, and they won't take nearly as much king damage.
I mean, that's exactly what we said here. Their plan to go 13 is an easy win for them, yes, but they need to utilize that Pawn Shop to defend their 12, because that is their weak wave. And that's what I thought also, that when you're in a Starve game, you need to recognize those weak wave quite. It's much more important to recognize those weak waves.
Absolutely, Shadow, and it nearly cost them dear. They're down to 4% King HP. That was very, very close to defeat for Quacker and Boone. Their counter send, of course, comes here on 13, as you suggested. It's still very strong against X-God and Shay, but they've just gained so much gold from those leaks, from that king damage. Maybe it's enough to save them now.
I mean, maybe it's enough, but they need to read that it's here, and we're gonna have double Avenger. Do we have Hardens here? No Hardens here on this other
It's a 500 send against X-God. He's I mean, Shay's on value. Like the one thing is his units are pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was supposed to say. I mean, he has the Avenger to give time.
Yeah, he's got the Slime Mummy, of course. Very good value unit. When it reaches full mana, it's 100 free gold. So again, Starve game, free value, pretty solid. X-God leaks 96%. Shay doing much better, 33%. I don't know if this is enough to kill them. It's certainly going to be very close. There's 2 ogres, 4 drill golems, and 1 little imp for good measure.
The ogres are terrifying on the king here, and I mean it's with 13. It's gonna be a lot of damage on the king. And without king ups, that is indeed very close.
Oh, it's so close. Can they survive?
It's gonna be a 4% also.
One more. Oh
no! They died. Just the last hit, not going through here.
So close. That was easily the difference by 1 king upgrade. You know, like 1 king attack would have kept them in the game here. But quack, boom. They take a 1-0 lead in this series against our reigning champions, X-God and Shay. Let's have a quick flick through some of the waves, Shadow.
I mean, it was a mistake first from Quacker and Boone to not use a Pawn Shop on 12, because that I mean, if they just use a Pawn Shop and prepare full 12, then they 100% win on 13 without a doubt. The game is over right now.
Yeah, because
But now with
if
that,
Boone pawn shops his weak units on 12, builds good value units like Royal Guards or something like this, he 100% holds the send. There's no doubt about it. He easily holds his own lane and probably covers some in the mid as well, which means instead of going from 82% to 4% king HP, they'd probably go to something like 50 or 60% king HP, and X-God and Shay importantly get much less gold to try and hold
yeah.
that wave 13 send, which means
However, I want to point out something. If Boone holds, then King Ups probably come in from Exxon and Shay.
that's true. I mean, these kind of everything's really balanced on a knife's edge, isn't it, when you get to this level of the game? So it's really interesting to see how these small decisions, one way or the other, can have a big impact. Like if we just look back to the amount of Mythium pressure that Boone applied early in the game with those double pack rats, sending a
Yeah.
double turtle into X-God, 97% on 3. And then the starve begins. It's straight wave 7 with triple brute snail leaking X-God again. And X-God's economy at this point is just so damaged. He's 6 workers, he's low income. Every time he's received a big send, he's leaked really big, and he's suffering here. They do manage to go for a bit of a counterplay there with that wave 9 send, but Quacker and Boone, they've got so much gold generated at this point from the leaks against their opponents that they barely leak against these 300 plus sends on 9. And now they can start to push the workers, and now they can go for a bit of a starve themselves. Like we said, there was this bit of a questionable play to take Pawn Shop and not use it on 12. Nearly lost them the game, by the way. But in the end, they were able to count this one out on wave 13. So really well played there, Quacker and Boone. This was such a close game.
Yeah, that was very close. After 13, since Exxon and Shay didn't send, they would have had a huge say onto the what waves to send.
Yeah. Very clutch stuff, dude. This is the margins when you get to teams at this level are so close. It's like one decision, one way or the other, one mid-game like play. Do you send on the right wave? Do you income king to try and hold? Do you accept the leak knowing that you're going to take king damage, but you think you've got enough to survive? And yeah, like this time it worked out for Quacker and Boone, but it could quite easily have gone in favor of X-God and Shay.
Yeah,
On
but
wave 12.
it's this knife head you speak of is accentuated when you speak of starved game. Exactly like that, because all those decisions are really more impactful onto the result of what happens in the game.
Yeah, definitely. So, Shadow, can X-God and Shay equalise this match now? Are we going to see a tied series? Will we have all 3 games played? Or will Quack Quack Boone 2-0 our reigning champions? Predictions, please.
I mean, I want to see a third game, especially if they are going that way. But will we see it? That's the other question. Quaker and Boone did prove to know how to deal with long saves in the early game, that is. But without the rats, can they pressure X-God as much? That's the question.
Yeah, well, we're about to find out. Game number 2, here it is. All right, we have a lock-in actually from Quacker, and do you know why?
That's the priestess.
Yeah,
that's the priestess.
He's locked in Priestess, and it's because of this little spell here, Divine Blessing. Divine Blessing Priestess is just probably the best unit spell combo in the game. It's such a high level of value that it gives you there. So much extra damage, so much extra survivability on the self-healing Priestess. I really like this play here from Quacker, actually.
It should have been Boone locking it in, because you know that if you're a team with Boone, he's always stealing those masks from you.
Yeah.
And so you're rolling Priestess and you have Boone in your team. You're not getting mask here. It's Boone getting it.
I actually think there's a very good case to be made for Quacker to re-roll on wave 1 here and dig for that mask, because the power difference, like Priestess is already an insanely strong opener, but when you add that mask spirit on the side, it just goes to that next level, right? So I really think he should re-roll wave 1, because he only needs 1 Priestess anyway, so he can roll that away regardless. And just really go digging for that mask. Hope that you get it in the reroll, because you're going to take your build to the next level.
We got some risky openers here on Next God and Shay, both going for the 5 worker openers. Cartel on Next God, and Shay sticking with the cash out. And so this is also they didn't send on 1, so they got pressure for wave 2.
Yep.
So we have the double Snell. No, we have a Snell plus King up from Shay.
Alright, I mean,
And
the
Boone is
snail
not going to
against
be
Quacker
punished
is
here.
obviously just food. In fact, Quacker playing it safe. He even adds Polywog here. Not that he was in particular danger, but that's a fine play, I think.
But this would have leaked to double Snell here on the Boone side. But
Yeah.
not punished here, and going for only a single Snell. That's going to be a hold here on the side of Boone.
Yeah, looks like a pretty easy one. The angler is going to die, however, so you won't get many stacks, but that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, if it means you hold, doesn't really matter, right?
Yeah. Alright, and now we have 6 workers on Boone, but Xgod, he's 6 workers himself, so he's not particularly slacking behind. And we do have the double speed and gate guard there for Shay, not looking particularly strong on wave 4, especially when Quacker saves his Mythium here. So maybe a bit of pressure to be applied there against Shay on wave 4. We could see some pretty decent leaks because he's not shifting gold. He won't have something like a Nightmare. He's going to struggle.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to struggle a lot. However, with the steeds, I mean, it's still decent, but as you said, no front line to give time, no damage also. So, gonna be quite risky here for Shay, unless he rerolls early.
Boone's Angler, by the way, it was fine for it to die on 2 to hold the send, but on wave 3 it
Yeah.
died really early as well. So that Angler, which should be
I mean,
75 stacks by now, is actually only on 38.
he's sacrificing the value for push, so I cannot really blame him too much, right?
Yeah. Here comes that wave 4 send as expected against Shay. There will be
And
a snail
Xgot
to
just
go with it.
extending the wave so much here.
Yeah. He gets a Cannoneer out, actually, against the Priestess there from Quacker, who doesn't have masks to be able to kite the wave. Now, this is really, really important now. Does the Cannoneer go onto the melee unit? I think the answer is yes. But if not, if that Cannoneer goes on the Priestess of Quacker, he's going to leak really badly.
Yeah, it should go on the double fish with that position.
Yeah.
It should go on it.
And it does. Okay, Cannoneer goes right. There's a big sigh of relief from Dark Quacker, realizing he would have been in a lot of trouble, I think, if that Cannoneer had made a beeline for his Priestess.
Oh yeah, that's a huge difference in terms of leak.
I mean, he just holds this way, right? It's
no, he leaks a Cannoneer. Priestess doesn't know how to win against Cannoneer.
No? Okay. I mean, she's
I
about to
don't think
heal.
so.
She's about to heal. Oh, Priestess!
Priestess is winning.
Easy hold.
Okay.
So
Okay.
meanwhile, the 80 cent there against Shay does get a 42% leak. Even though he's 390 value on wave 4, that's pretty high.
I mean, it's all into gate guards and steed, and that's not very good on wave 4.
It certainly isn't. So leaking 42% there against the income send. He does, however, have a large stockpile of Mythian there. So the Canadian duo really getting that started early. Start as you mean to go on, that's what I always say. So he's not even sending it here on 5. If we have a look at Boone, he's looking pretty vulnerable on 6.
Kind of surprised he didn't send hit here and then resend on 6, because that would have been very, very good for them. But now Boone has an option here to build for next also.
I mean, Boone's build...
So I'm not sure.
Boone's build certainly is not looking good on wave 6, and what's kind of worrying is that he's already used his reroll, so his roll is not going to look any better on wave 6, no matter what. He's pretty much full pierce, he's pretty much bad armor types, apart from like the Royal Guard.
Name every tank in a roll of Boone.
Yeah, like every unit he has. He has Buckler, he has Casket, and of course the ultimate tank, Millennium.
Glad you're not missing it.
There's a
but
minute.
yeah, only two frontline units, so that's kind of kind of rough.
Yeah. And we see the
And
Mimic
that's
coming
why,
out on wave 6 from Shay. That's pretty
yeah,
disgusting behaviour. He doesn't reach 40, so it's only going to be a snail joining that Mimic on its adventures. But we do want to follow this Mimic, especially Captain Shadow Sparrow of the dreaded vessel Starvlord. Very keen to see this Mimic plunder some booty, I'm sure.
yeah. But I mean, X-God just sending the Cannoneer. It's a bit surprising.
Yeah. Could have hoped to get some real king damage done. And actually, the Mimic not really providing that much value. It's getting a couple of +3s, but not that many. Only 12 gold gained there.
Yeah.
But more importantly, it was only really attacking bucklers and bounty hunters and let
But
that mask stay alive for far too long, dealing damage against the wave.
that's the problem of him not going for wave 5. He had the Drake in income for
Yeah.
wave 5. And then on wave 5, okay, he leaves, but then he pushes. Can he afford the red mask, which is the thing that saved him here? No, he cannot. So
Yeah.
a reason would have been much better. I mean, there was an avenue which was a bit better. Early game, it's not always about having the biggest send to send on. Sometimes it's the right play. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes the build just isn't flexible enough to compensate for that big send. However, if you have a flexible build where you have options to cover yourself, then you want to try and force the enemy to on awkward situations, even if
Yeah.
it doesn't work. So.
And now I think the pressure is really on Shay. So his big starve play there with the Mimic on 6. I mean, it got a leak, sure, but I'm going to say it didn't really pay off because when you're sending 180 Mythium on 6, you really want to leak more than just a Mimic and 1 creep. So maybe starting to backfire now because he's obviously starved himself in this game, and Quacker now actually has tons of pressure onto Shay, and in fact doesn't send here on wave 8, which is where I was expecting.
I mean, yeah. Kind of strange that Quaker doesn't send here. I mean, they could. I mean, there's another avenue, and that is wave 9.
Huh?
I mean, it's counterintuitive because you have those gate guards, right? You see gate guards, see, oh, I'm not sending 9. However, the detail is that there's nothing protecting the gate guards. So if you have an ogre, it's gonna get through those harbinger quite easily.
And what I really wanted to say as well is they were probably thinking that they're going to force X-God into this Trinity Archer because they know that Shay looks weak on 8, so they know that X-God wants to cover. But now that X-God's put all of his gold into that expensive Trinity Archer, which is super weak on wave 9, that's really opened him up to a lot of danger actually on wave 9. So Boone can certainly get some damage done against X-God here if he wants to.
I mean, I believe the center will come here.
Yeah,
And
there it is.
Does, and
That's
Quaker
a
sends a
centaur
centaur.
from Quacker. Okay.
Not really liking it. I think the ogre would have been much better here, especially if you're facing an harbinger.
Yeah. I think that I think the centaur can be okay. It's obviously going to get good value against steeds and nightmares and priestesses and things like this. But yeah, I mean, what do you need to do? What do you need to do to break Shay on 9? You need to deal with his fortified impact units. And the centaur just isn't all that.
Yeah, so I think the centaur is gonna cleave,
Yeah.
but
It's going to cut through the gate guards really quickly because we didn't get an upgraded harbinger. So in fact, only
but
one
we
of those
still
gate
have a
guards got a
gate.
second summon.
We still have a gate.
We do still have a gate, but I think this is going to be a pretty decent...
Oh, the gate is on the centaur. Centaur is tanking perfectly still. Okay.
Yeah, X-God had a gate of his own, by the way, tucked up in his sleeve there. So he's doing just fine against the 260 send of Boone. I thought he would be in trouble. X-God said, not today, sir. He planted that Soulgate, and he damn near
I've heard someone said one day that in Legion,
Ooh.
value is strong.
Value is strong. And remember, guys, exclamation point plushie in the chat if you want your safety moles to survive on 2% HP when you send them against your enemies.
And also, you gain extra value in the game if you do go for it.
Yeah. Now we have a bit of a worker lead on the side of Quacker and Boone, but not a significant one. And
But
X-God, it looks like, is starting to lead the pack. He's got a lot more income than anybody else. He's
yeah,
on
but
fire, in fact.
you need to account for minus 34 income.
Oh, of course, he's playing Cartel. Yeah, you're right. So as soon as Wave 11 starts, he's actually going to be behind.
Yep. So I think it's a definite lead here for Quacker and Boone going into the mid game, especially with the Azeria here
Yeah.
on Quacker. However, he's gonna leak here, presume.
Yeah, there's no way he holds here, right? With the
I mean, this is the strongest power merc in the game right now, so
yeah.
it's kind of hard to hold.
Right, that's a pretty sizable leak, actually. 69% there from Quacker. Nice.
Quite a nice leak, though.
Quite a nice leak indeed. Shay leaking on value, but of course he's playing a Priestess and Gate Guard build, not particularly known for its power on Wave 10. And yeah, Boone unable to cover his teammates' leak here on 10, so Quack Quack Boone taking a little bit of king damage against the income sends from the Butter Boys.
Yep. But the workers, look at the workers of Boone here. 17
Yeah.
workers.
He's playing aggressive. And
But that's
Quacker,
because of the Kingpin. I mean, it's playing towards the power spec of the Kingpin. And this, I presume it will be a full shift on Boone on wave 12. We have the Divine Blessing already shown on Quacker. I think this is a bit preemptive to show it.
I think it's fine actually, and the reason I think it's fine is because obviously we had Ascend on 10, so nobody's particularly scared on 11. And but more to the point, like if you have Azaria, you're gonna pick Divine Blessing. Like let's not mess about here. You're picking the Blessing.
Boone going for counter attack, Divine Blessing on X-God as well. I mean, that's a good answer because Divine Blessing Archer on wave 12 is quite good. And with counter attack on the board of Boone, not leaking however, might be a forced wave 12 in the end.
Yeah. I mean, he pushed really hard for this. He probably was hoping to, leak one creep or something like this. Not quite
Like an
able
income
to.
send here, but no, that's not going to happen with Fixon and Shay in the game.
Yeah. I mean, he probably would have leaked really small to an income send, right?
Yeah, but income sending on 11 when Shay and Exod is in the game,
Ain't gonna
doesn't
happen.
really happen.
Yeah.
Doesn't really happen.
Alright, Shay now revealing his own Divine Blessing Azaria. Worth pointing out, that was a reroll, by the way, so quite a fortunate one there for Shay,
Yep.
who had a little bit of an awkward roll at the start of the game. Now
I mean,
turning
don't
into
get me
something
wrong,
pretty
though.
solid.
The build of Shay is still quite awkward.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. X-God revealing his blessing as well, but nobody sending here on 12. I wonder if we're going to see a big 13. But Boone also revealing his trump card there with Millennium. I think I would have liked to see him hide that, actually.
With all the players he had, that definitely would have been the play for him to hide it.
He already has like a full stack Kingpin here on 12. You just don't expect the send to come on wave 12. And now that he's shown the Millennium, it just means that when Shay and X-God do send, it's going to be Ghost Knights rather than, Ogres or something. Okay, so we have a 13 send from Quacker and Boone. X-God and Shay thinking they're strong enough. We have the Blessing Archer. We have Hellgate on the side of X-God. And Shay also...
Shay is building for 14, what?
This is really important now. First, how much does the Azaria tank? And secondly, I mean, obviously does it survive, right? Because if the Azaria is able to tank, say, 2 or 3 creeps without dying, now that it has that Divine Blessing, I think it can, then Shay just easily holds.
I mean, Shay not expecting the send here.
It's tanking a lot, but the Blessing is so powerful on the Azaria, and it's getting extra mana from the Steeds as well, don't forget. The Azaria just easily survives the left-hand side. It tanks everything there, and it just says, no problem. I've got this. So that's an easy hold for our boy Shay. And X-God, meanwhile, his Blessing is gone. His Blessing is gone, but he's holding his send. It looks like the gate creeps just able to focus down those
Wow.
drill
Okay.
golems. So a massive
Okay.
backfire now for Quack Quack Boon. This
I
send
did
is
not
just
expect that.
wow. Okay, the send just really didn't pan out there for the side of Quacker and Boon.
Uh,
And now it's got in Shay, they have a massive pressure advantage.
yeah, but where do you go? Look at
Uh,
Dark Quacker's build.
yeah. I mean, 17 looks amazing, but obviously that's a very long save. I
Yeah,
think,
since Quaker and Boone are going income here, I think they won't go any more income because 14 was the weakest shown wave for Quaker right now.
yeah.
So I think they're gonna skip 15 to force 16 maybe.
Yeah. Now, Shay and XCOD, they just have no pressure on them whatsoever, and I think you're right, 16 looks like the play. Even though Quacker has really good tanks there with his Arctairs, I think, you send a couple of Four Eyes or even some Centaurs. I think that would be a good Centaur send against Dark Quacker's lane there. Boone probably will prep masks on 15. I think we'll see him build 4 or 5 red masks, maybe expecting the send to come on 16, but let's see.
Oh my god, and Quaker going for income again because Shay is just providing the slowest wave ever.
Huh?
That is, I mean, it's gonna Shay gonna go for 16 for sure.
I mean, they're super, super low value, though. Like, yeah, I know
Yeah,
he's got on a
that's
Divine
super
Blessing
dangerous.
Azaria, but if Dark
Super
Quacker and
dangerous.
Boone went for a full send here, maybe they could get some damage in.
Yeah, no, the play here from Quaker and Boone would have been to keep their cool, skip 15, and race them 16.
Yeah,
Because right now they're using all the Mythium, and there's no race happening on 16 right now.
yeah. I mean, Shay has 2,500 value here on wave 15, so yeah, they're
But
so
don't get me
starved.
wrong, it's not impossible for Quacker to hold 16. Look at the build he has. It is very, very strong.
Yeah,
The
it
only
is.
problem is the Mythium that Xgod is generated right now.
Yeah. Mythium is also strong, and XGod has nearly 1,000 of it.
Alright, so we have the full send on 16.
We do have a fully upgraded king on the side of Quacker and Boone. Here comes the send. It is, of
Oh,
course,
Shay
enormous.
is losing the Divine Blessing.
I think
Uh,
in the Azaria, she's going to heal.
uh,
She's going to
hello?
heal. Divine
Hello?
Blessing, Azaria, pretty good.
Hello?
Oh,
Hello?
it's
Okay.
down. He does lose
So,
the
so that's
blessing.
huge. If Quaker and Boone wants to go for a race, it's maybe possible because with the king they have, they might survive here.
They do send full. So realizing this is maybe their best shot is to go for a race. I mean, their full send is only molds, but the fact that Shay
But
lost his
the
blessing
value is
there,
not there for Shay. Value is not
yeah,
there for Shay. Xgod, it's a bit better on value. It's still Gates on 16 though, so it's gonna be quite hard, quite hard for him.
yeah. Now the sends on the side of Boone and Quacker are obviously tiny because they've been starved from wave 1 till 16 or whenever the last send was. But the value on XGod and Shay is also pretty low. We've got 3.4k on XGod, we've got 3k on Shay, and we have a lot of Arctairs, as Shadow is kindly pointing out on the side of Quacker. There is a Centaur from XGod, which I do like, and the Four Eyes as well, of course. I mean, it's going to be a
Wait,
case of
someone, you need to clean that. Penny just said he loves the centaur.
in very specific circumstances. Yeah. Now, this is going to be a real classic case of value versus workers. Which one is going to win out? Because the value clearly is on the
Yeah,
side of Quacker and
Quaker.
Boone, the workers on the side of XGod and Shay, and the leaks are huge. Quacker 179, Boone 144, Shay 84, and XGod
Oh my god, the dancing
holding the
shaman.
longest there with his gates. But there is some AoE damage on this side. Quacker and Boone, do they
What's the
die
spell?
here or not? The spell
It's
is
chain
lightning.
lightning.
I think
No,
it's an
they die.
easy win.
We
In
gained
fact,
game
it
3.
is. XGod and Shay, congratulations. They do bring the series to a tie. There will be a game number 3. Ladies and gentlemen, well played to the Potter boys.
I mean, playing on the edge. If you wanted an example, well, that is a good example.
That's an absolutely filthy example of overbuilding star play. In fact, if we have a quick look at this, we
It's not
saw
even overbuild. It's just divine blessing gameplay.
yeah, well, yeah, underbuild and stuff. Yeah, so we had a two send from Shay, who then went straight six with a mimic. It didn't really get much damage done to Boone, but what it did do was keep his workers very low, so that X-God could try and push a bit more in the early game. And then he just goes for a couple more rounds of income up until 10, and then he's like, nah, that's it, that's enough sending for me. We're just going to chill out, we're going to sit here, we're going to stay high value on 13, hold our sends there with the blessings that we picked up for our Legion spells, and we're going all the way to 16, baby, with 1,200 sends into both Quacker and Boone, leaking them massively for a
You
one-shot
want to
kill
know
there
my
on
opinion?
16.
You
Go
want
ahead,
to know
Shadow.
my opinion? I
Yes,
think if
please.
it's simulation, Quacker and Boone survive.
I think you might be right, actually, because there was a decent amount of AoE damage done to both lanes of creeps. Obviously, the AoE from the Caskets and the Arctairs on Quacker's lane, the AoE from the Doomsday and the Masks on Boone's lane. So, yeah, I think with something like Immolation, maybe they survive. I think it's probably still close. But yeah, with the Lightning Hammer, it wasn't even remotely close. Their king just got speed run to death there.
Mm.
And X-God and Shay do even up the series, which means going into game number 3 now, we have everything to play for.
Yeah, we got a start game. Exion not able to pick Cartel anymore. Shay out of his comfort cash out now.
Yeah.
So also to remember, we have Boone not able to pick YOLO, right?
Yep.
And
Yep, yep,
Quaker
yep.
not able to pick redraw.
Yeah, exactly. So, all the marbles now for this one. Do you have a favourite, Shadow?
I mean, do I have a favorite? I mean, if I want to be honest, those who I think could go further in the side of the bracket would be Exo and Shay because they probably face a Brasiert
Yeah.
in the semifinal, and I think they have a good chance against them. Boone and Quacker are a little bit more well-rounded, so if it is not a Brasier and it's Papaya and Skills making an upset, then maybe Boone and Quacker would have a better chance in the long run. In this current situation, it is very close. They match up quite evenly, so I'm not quite sure who will take it, but I can say it's going to be a very close one and a
Yeah.
story game.
100%. I think X-God and Shay maybe have an edge just because of their tournament experience, but my heart wants Boone and Quacker to win. Like, X-God and Shay, they've had their moment in the spotlight, you know what I mean? They've won multiple Nova Cups already, and I would love to see Quack Quack Boone making it through to
You're
the
just
final
rooting
stage.
for the underdog,
Yeah,
as
of
any
course.
Dota player do.
Of course. I mean, I'd love to see new faces on the tournament scene, you know? Quack Quack Boone, they've played it once or twice together. I don't know if they've made it through to day 2 yet. Whereas X-God and Shay, obviously, they've got 5 or 6 Nova Cup wins under their belt. So I'd love to see a bit of an upset, you know? A bit of a storyline to talk about. But
Yeah.
enough guesses from the casters. Let's let the players
Oh,
decide. And look at
oh!
this! A fiesta in
We
the
got
final!
Fiesta Boom
Fiesta
happening.
Boone. When the chips are down, everything's a play for. Boone puts his money where his mouth is. Fiesta pick, game number 3. That is balls. Well played, sir. I take my hat off to you.
So it's gonna be Shay on greed for an answer, and Xgun on is cash out that he loves to spam in the ladder.
Yeah. So Xgod
While
does
Biker
save
is going
his
for cartel.
Xgod managing to save his favored laddered playstyle for game number 3. So pretty solid there. You know, he's got the is it his favorite mastermind? Let's say you certainly want to be playing your comfort picks when you're in a high stakes matchup like this. So I kind of like
We
that he
do
has that.
have the giveaway here. Boone going for the 2-stack cat, so that's gonna ring the alarm of the Fiesta.
Yeah.
Interesting start from Shay, to be honest.
Yeah, like I can kind of see it actually. This would hold already, so you don't necessarily need the proton.
But the snail is the problem.
Yeah, true. And we do have a wave 1 skip from both Boone and Quacker. They will immediately spot the Fiesta on Boone, I think.
Is this really reliable?
Slime Mommy, yeah, it's actually really strong in the early game because she's almost always going to hit full mana on these early game waves, and when she does, it's just 100 free gold, right? You summon those 2 extra slimes when she dies, and it's just
True.
insane value for money. It obviously falls off later into the game, but it's a pretty solid opener, I think.
Okay, let's see how the cartel player is able to make it work here. Needs to be aware of the weak wave. Potentially wave 4, the first weak wave.
Wave
Right?
4 and 5 looking, not particularly strong on 4 and 5. But again, even if it gets full mana on wave 4, it still provides insane value. The first real glaring weak wave, I think, is wave 8. Like, even though it's arcane armor there, it's just, it does 0 damage and it's
It's the
likely.
new Nekomata.
Cool.
Strong every
Yeah.
wave except 7 and 8.
Right, Boone, actually 6 workers, not getting punished with a snail here on 2. He's going to be very, very happy with that. There was a 40 send against Shay, who did stay 240 value actually, so he should be completely fine, and it looks like he is. X-God also fine, now going up to 6 workers with that flower proton build of his own.
I mean, Flower Atom is the best, I think, for flower starts.
Yeah.
He's just so good on 5, so good on 6. That's normally the 2 weak ways you're troubled with. But 2 atoms, definitely enough DPS, you just need frontline afterwards. And that's exactly what he has with the steeds.
Yep. Now we have 6 workers for all 4 players actually, so this game getting off to a bit of an aggressive start all around. Pretty interesting to see.
I mean, the openers, like X-Code openers, opener very good at pushing. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see 7 workers here for him.
Yeah, and do you know what else is interesting as well is the fact that Boone is playing that Fiesta. X-God spotted it straight away, but instead of going for like those snail sends to try and leak him every wave, he's gone straight for the starve. He's going to do something like a dino on 4, or maybe even a massive send on 5, because Boone is losing out on any. He's not getting any Fiesta value here, right? Like, he's not leaking any wave apart from wave 1, and now when this leak comes, because it's going to be from 100 send from X-God on wave 4, he's actually going to leak pretty badly, I think.
I mean, I don't think he's going to leak quite bad here. How much value does he still has to build? Yeah, it's not the best value. However, the dino might be in the split if he has the snail.
Yeah, let's see if he does add the snail, or if he does.
He does.
Right.
So I mean, it's not as terrible as we think here. It only depends on how long does he avoid hitting the dino, and that's not long enough.
Not very long at all.
But the dino might still go down? No, it will not. So that is indeed 100% leak here. 117, 7 HP dino going here. And we'll have also Quacker leaking to 35%. But Exod
really
and
unfortunate
Shay
for Boone, leaving that dino on 0% HP. That is a lot of lost gold there. He's very sad about that one, I think.
So early lead for Exod and Shay here. The Fiesta from Boone a bit of a backfire as you tell. But 8 workers on Boone, 8 workers on Exod as well, leaking only small. I mean, I'm not used to that positioning from Xgod with the flower. Normally it's not exactly like that I like to play it, but it might work for him.
Yeah. And he does have the double atom, as you said, giving him that power boost on wave 5 and 6, letting him kill the Scorpion King and, of course, the Roccos. A pretty solid build, I think. And yeah, the King damage clearly favouring Xgod and Shay there with the wave 4 sense.
I mean, it's still not the end of the world.
No.
However, 6 is problematic for Boone and Quacker. However, we did have a full shift here from Boone. aiming for that Avenger, I believe. But he's quite far from it, so I don't think he's getting it.
Oh, yeah,
Well, that's
Star.
gonna be a Fiesta.
He holds
Wow.
very, very
Does he?
close though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. It was very close here.
He would have loved to leak one creep there, I think.
I think if he leaks one creep, he gets that Avenger.
Yeah,
Now he needs to sell.
which he does. But the thing is, Xcon and Shay are still saving. So as soon as they see this Avenger, well, they can go, you know what? Wave 8.
Yeah. However, we do have the Orchid on Quacker. We do have this Siren as well, and also the Elemental. So I think they have a good setup to counter with a potential wave 8.
Yeah. Orchid very strong on 8, and we also see, like you say, the Disciple, the Trinity Archer for Boon. They have options.
So I'm not really against the income here. I would have loved to see either income King.
We will see a pretty
But
decent leak actually for X-God,
I
the
mean,
strongest
he
power
did send.
mercenary there.
Yeah, I mean, the power merc is just out of this world. Needs a nerf, I think. It just gives too much income for what it does. It looks like.
Okay, so do we get a cover because the Drake went on the highest HP? It looks like yes. So, oh, no, maybe it gets one shot against the King. It does.
It does, and boom, that's the difference maker. Now we have Quacker and Boone winning.
Yeah, but look at this. X-God and Shay still saving, so it definitely looks like that wave 8 as expected. They will see the Elite Archer reveal, and Boone, he
Yeah,
is
but
shifting some gold here.
Yeah, we need to see him save. You are Fiesta. You have Slime Siren on the other side of with your teammate. You gotta go for the risky play in the shift here,
Yeah.
and that's gonna be the shift.
But bear with me, Shadow. X-God and Shay are about to see the Archer reveal and the Disciple reveal on Quacker. Clearly, Wave 8 was their plan, but what if they just go Wave 9?
Yeah, just say one more wave.
One more wave. One more wave.
One more.
One more wave.
The problem with that is that Xcode and Shay are not particularly the best on 8, and so they might leak to income Sen as well. So we'll see if Boone and Quacker try to capitalize on that. So it's gonna be wave 9 attempted for Xcode and Shay, but they might leak here to the income Sen of Boone and Quacker.
And they do. X-God and Shay heard the chance for one more wave, and they do skip again. So Boone getting that Trinity Archer, another Disciple for Quacker. They're both actually looking pretty strong on this wave 8, but absolutely dire on wave number 9. This could be a ton of damage dealt on 9.
Well, we'll see. It depends on how much gold they get here, because looking at the values and the units, I don't think we'll have a hold on Shay and X-God. Or X-God. Not sure who's gonna leak here.
And the Atoms of Shay did get sniped out by the Cannoneer there, so he lost a lot of his damage, but actually the one on the right is still doing its thing.
Yeah, but that's gonna be a leak.
Yeah, and X-God, he's doing very well. It looks like he's leaking 2 Cobras. Shay leaks a bit more, 4 Cobras and a cannon there. So
Yeah, that's not enough gold, so the long save from X-God and Shay is going to be rewarded here on wave 9, I believe.
I mean, they're both already like in siege ram territory, but Shay says no ram for you. It's a centaur today, good sir, and is looking pretty solid against what Quacker has. I think a ram would have been better, but let's see.
Well, I mean, the Centaur is not bad. Centaur is not bad because you don't know about that great boar.
Yeah. I tell you what, the centaur does do. It murders slime mummies.
Yeah, and that makes everybody sad.
Yeah. Boone 1200 and 1300 value now that he finishes building. In fact, so he certainly has some value.
It might be enough here. Look at Boone here. The build from Boone is not terrible here. A lot of time for the Trinity Archer. Has the Avenger as well, so it might be less problematic than I think here.
Oh, we're about to find out. 380 against Boone, 360 against Quacker. Let's find out. He's crushing the left-hand side pretty quickly.
The Archer is tanking partially as well.
Yeah, it is pretty nice. Safety Mole living forever does now go down, but it certainly did its job. If we go back over, in fact, Quacker's held everything but the Centaur, which he may yet get down with the Disciples. One
Oh,
more
the
shot
long
from the
save
Disciple.
just backfiring
Oh,
again.
oh, the Centaur does make it through with 88
I mean,
hit
88,
points.
that's a hold. I mean, for all long the
Yeah.
save was, that's a hold.
Yeah, absolutely. Very nice builds there from Boone and Quacker. And Boone, like, we can say as well, the fact that he leaked so small, that's a Fiesta Boone right there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the downside right now is that Cracker's gotta have a negative income because of the cartel.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. Boone is still keeping up in work. Everybody's keeping up in workers, but right now it's really Quacker struggling a little bit.
Yeah, and
I mean,
Quacker will really fall behind, like you say. So he has a very powerful late game role, actually, with Balls, Disciples, and Hades options. But he's just never going to hit that point because he's been so starved in this early game. He'll just never be like a strong performer late game. He probably at some point has to suicide into X-God and let Boone try and carry
yeah.
the late game.
And I think this is still the correct play. But now we're returning to one part of the first game, right? We're in the same territory of a very starved game here.
Yeah, very, very starved game. Very starved game.
So now there is the option to go Lizard Army, and Lizard Army has a lot of value to prevent the Creditor. But I believe Savior will be chosen by every player.
And I think Wave 13...
Wait,
oh, Creditor
Boone
from
going
Boone.
for the Creditor.
Okay.
Ballsy.
Ballsy Boone. But I mean, he already showed the size of his big
And then
brass
Quacker
balls
as well?
on Wave 1, right? When he picked that Fiesta in the game-deciding match. Or the match-deciding game, I should say. Okay, so Quacker, I mean, he's taking Creditor, but he's spending 20 of that gold on shurikens already.
That's gonna be Lizard Army on both Shay and X-God, so that's what I was talking about. The counter to Creditor, the Lizard Army, a lot of value here, but where do you want to go? Do you go 13 now? That might just be their plan here from Boone and Quacker, reading the 13 cent and just getting as much value as possible with the Creditor.
And do you know what? We were talking about starved games, eking out every bit of value that you can. Well, gaining an extra, 170 gold from 2 waves of Creditor shifting, correctly reading a 13 cent, that certainly is eking out as much value as possible. So
yeah,
nice
and they're
call there
going
from Boone and
income
Quacker.
here. Okay.
But I don't love the income though. So I think if you are reading that 13 cent, then the income is just a hard mistake.
I mean, it's not as bad as you think. I mean, it's quite bad because they don't prepare 13, but
Yeah,
they're
Quacker
both
builds
preparing
a red
wave
eyes
12.
here.
And Quacker is not
taking Creditor.
No.
Oh dear.
No.
Oh Quacker. Oh no.
That's
no.
terrible. You're not playing against Shadow. They don't send 12.
and Boone full build for 12 as well. Like you said, he's made a second Trinity Archer. He's now very, very vulnerable on 13.
I mean, the only person it's alright to build for 12, it's me, because I always send 12 despite them being strong, because I know they expect 13.
Yeah. I know it very well. If I've got a Banana Haven and I'm playing against Shadowings, I know for a fact the send is coming on 12. Right, here is now this 13 send as expected. It's pretty big from X-God and Shay.
But Boone will be overvalued because I don't think he will Creditor here, because Quacker will be quite out of value here on this wave.
He will be overvalued, but he'll be overvalued. Like, his one good unit is a Sovereign. He's got these 2 Trinity Archers, which are very, very weak on 13.
He just needs more delay. He just needs more delay. Trinity Archer, given enough time, on a reduced wave, will always do a lot of damage. So that's what he needs, is more delay.
Is he shifting?
And he's Creditoring!
No! Both shifting!
Oh my god, no!
Oh no, they read the play wrong, Shadow. I think this is just... I think this is game.
Yeah, this is game.
and one of
They
Boone
got
Darsh's
confused. They
died
got
very quickly
confused.
as well. Yeah.
They didn't see the line that
Oh,
Shane was attempting to.
they don't even wait to see the size of the leaks there. Boone and Quack are just immediately forfeiting when Quacker leaks there, and yeah, like they read the play wrong. Let's say. I mean, it comes back to what we were saying earlier on the cast shadow. Everything balanced on the edge, on a knife's edge, and Boone and Quacker made a couple of mistakes here. One was where Quacker did not shift for Creditor on 12, so he lost any potential upside there. And then
Yeah.
the second and crucially the final misplay was 13, where for whatever reason, they probably thought it was a fake lizard army or something like this, and they both went for full Creditor shift. In fact, Boone shifted more than he needed to. He had something like 230 gold left over. Could have built a little bit more, probably still wouldn't have been enough. But yeah, they both needed to full build here for Wave 13, and probably still do King Ops as well to try and survive this massive send from Xcod and Shay.
That is very very sad. I mean, it's really the comfort zone of Shane X God starved games, and it's just Quacker and Boone not experienced with that kind of gameplay. It just needs to play more in 8 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really unfortunate there. But, I mean, massive congratulations to Xcod and Shay, because they are through to the finals day. Will we see them take the crown once again?
Maybe. Update on the other side of the bracket. We do have Aviator and Julian advancing, and we also have Lucy and the Rashir advancing over Toyken, and I believe it was Eldelic.
And I think Widdowson and Kingdowns are still playing, so maybe we should hop into
It
their game.
looks like it.
Let's hop into Widdowson's game and see how that one's panning out. Okay, it is Kingdowns and Widdowson. That is, of course, Team Abrasiet. And they are playing against Skills and Papai Zaita, the tropical duo.
Tropical.
We're on wave number 4. I'm going to try and get a score update.
I believe it's a 1-1, with it being wave 4. Do you believe it's the third game?
Must be, right? Okay, we get pretty sizable
Skills
sends
with
all
Fiesta.
around.
Wait, Skill with Fiesta not playing it in the 2 first games?
Yeah. Or maybe he played it and lost once?
Maybe.
Okay, he's actually leaking here with a boosted veteran, but leaking very small. That's a Fiesta for him. Well, 50%, not so small. King down 67% against 3 snails. Widdowson got a full send here, and he leaks 33, so pretty small. But Papai is holding there. So crucially, they're going to win the king damage.
Just wait a second. Look at the workers. It's wave 4.
Yeah, King Dance has 9 workers here on wave 4 in what I assume is game number 3. I haven't had a definite answer there. I'll try whispering Papai as well.
I mean, this is going to be a fast one.
Yeah, this is pedal to the metal, you know? Everyone's pushing hard. It is a 1-1, so Papai confirms it's a 1-1. King Dans and Widdowson are other tournament favourites, you know? Like, it's this team and Xgod who are normally favoured to take it, right? But Xgod, we saw them already struggling. And King Dans and Widdowson struggling here as well, it looks like, against Papai and Skills.
I mean, I know they are lower seeded, but they are so darn hard to play against.
Yeah, they are.
Because you just don't know what they're going to do. They could full push no matter what, leak and don't care. They could be overbuilt early game and just leak afterwards. Or they could just be pushing a lot and then stop and then saving for eternity.
Yeah, very unpredictable. I agree. I have played these guys on the ladder, and I 100% agree with your assessment. Now, King Dans and Widdowson looks like they did get the measure of them here with a full resend wave 5. Gonna deal a bit of king damage, maybe more than they're happy with. Looks like they're evening up the damage that they took themselves on wave 4. And
I mean,
in fact, it's almost identical.
It's back
58% on
and
one side.
forth. It's just back and forth.
Yeah, but you were saying Skills and Papai, are they going to snowball and push crazy hard, or are they going to just go for a long save? And it looks like at the moment they're more on column B, the long save. They have 160 Mythium, both Skills and Papai. They're taking a send here, and it is a full send against Skills, who I'm pretty sure will leak badly actually against this, despite having a Violet, because none of his other units are any good. Papai, though, he should hold.
Yeah, I mean, Scales basically has one unit this wave. That's pretty much it, right?
Yeah, so Skills, he did full push, and he is going to pay the price for that. Now, crucially, Papai needs to be able to cover his teammate, and he's certainly holding his own lane. But Skills is leaking 89% there.
I mean, he killed the brute.
He did kill the brute. Okay, that's pretty good. And some of this is low enough HP that maybe Papai can clear up a decent amount, not take too much king damage. He gets one Rocco. He gets two Roccos. Can we dare hope for Rocco number 3? We can.
We do.
Sky Queen.
And number 4.
Full
6 HP remaining.
Very, very nice. Okay, and here it is, the big boy send. There's an Ogre on 7 from Skills. He will get a Brute to join his big brother in the lane. Widdowson does get a Kingpin, though, and he's on 1,114 value. It is currently wave 7. This is an interesting one. King Dance gets a bike. He's 900 value, so the value is strong.
Are you sure Widdowson has enough value?
He's got some. He's got the amount of value that you normally see on like wave 9 or 10, but it's
10. Wave 10.
It should be pretty good on 7, right?
Maybe.
This Banana Bunk living forever in King Dan's lane. It looks like he either holding or leaking very small. Looks probably more like a hold. And this Ogre, it is probably losing its battle against the Harbinger. The Harbinger does get a summon.
No, the Ogre's not going through.
Yeah. So King Dan's leaks 3 blobs and half of a lizard. Widdowson full holds, and yeah, that was looking very dangerous.
I got a bit scared here.
It turns out value is pretty good, though.
I got a bit scared of Widdowson leaking with 200 more value than necessary.
Yeah.
I would have lost faith completely to the Kingpin on 7.
Yeah.
Alright, so Skills and Papai going for income now, and that might be a mistake here because now King Dan and Widdowson are just going to return the pressure.
Yeah, and King Dan's 15 workers on wave 8, by the way.
Widdowson's gonna rejoin them soon. He just needs extra time to push a little bit, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Let's just say he has a little bit of a value issue.
Widdowson just never needs to build again, you know? He's already got enough value for the rest of the game, pretty much.
He's just having his thumb on the U button.
Yeah.
He's just never letting it go.
Alright, 17 workers now for King Dan's, 15 for Widdowson, wave number 9. These guys have a bit of a lead, both on fire, obviously. Papai and Skills falling behind. When does the send come for King Dan's and Widdowson? If I look at the builds, I mean, they don't look amazing on 10, but there is Venture in the game as well, so maybe King Dan's and Widdowson just want to go straight into wave 11.
I mean, this is quite an interesting game right now. Because you had this chaotic carry game, and it's just the experience of King Dance and Widdowson just putting them through later into the game now. They found the lead in a chaotic game, and that's only experience that can give you that.
Yeah, absolutely. But these guys, I mean, Jules is giving them a 64% edge, and I think that's maybe being a bit optimistic for Skills and Papai, because they just have such a massive Mythium and worker lead.
Yeah, I mean it's the fact they've sent for income on 8. They lost a bit of pressure here.
Yeah. King gets his bunk out 10. They do save, so it looks like they're going for that wave 11 play. I actually
I
expect
mean,
King
yeah,
Dans to take Venture as well as send there.
yeah, I would too. Especially with Israel,
Yep.
because you only need a violet, right, on 11 for King Dance, and then you're fine.
Yeah, exactly. And skills and papaya then. The question is whether they full send on 11 or do they just go for Income King?
I believe it will be Income King. I don't think they can afford to go for a full set.
Yep. Obviously, easily holding no send. There's nothing particular to speak of. And here comes the big boy sends from King Dans and Widdowson. And it is Income King from Skills and Papaya.
Yeah, so now we're gonna see Glacial Touch as well, I believe, on the Halo. Also, Glacial Touch on the Harpy could be a potential pick
Yeah,
for Papai.
that could be a good shout.
No, Papai, no, what? No,
Papaya just spent 200 gold on Chloropixies.
no,
Make it
no,
300 gold. And they
no,
took
no, skills,
Venture.
no, no,
They
no, come on,
both
no,
took Venture.
no,
Oh
no,
my.
you don't do that, no.
Oh, can I get a checkup on aisle 4, please? Things
No,
are
no,
gonna
I
get
mean,
pretty hairy for Papaya and Skills. They just die here, no?
all right. Thank you guys for watching. For safety of your children, we're not going to show this. No, this is. I think this is. I mean, you can try it on one of your players. Like, if you
Yeah,
want
but not
Papa,
not
pick
both.
Venture, good. But then skills need to build. But
Yeah.
don't take Venture. No.
Maybe they just thought they need to go for a Hail Mary. Maybe they felt they're behind. It's worth taking a risk.
I mean, there's a difference between Hail Mary and just straight up giving up here. I don't know.
Yeah. They could at least have like Ollie King upped, maybe. No, they did
Yeah,
spend their
maybe.
him on King upgrades.
But no, I mean, it's just you can make the Fiesta
What?
player take Venture.
Wow, they actually nearly survived. There's 2
Wow,
creeps
okay.
alive, but yeah. This is the expected result. King Downs and Widdowson do win the game here on Wave 11 with a very, very risky venture pick there from
Yeah.
both Papaya and Skills. Not just the venture, but also building 3 pixies.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, I admire the fact that they felt behind, they needed to take a risk, and they did so, but maybe this was just a little bit too much of a
Like,
risk. A
if
little bit too much of a risk.
Papa takes Glacial Touch for the Sky Queen,
Yeah,
and he has enough. Sorry, he has enough for the Haven.
he does.
Uh,
Yeah.
he still leaks, but way less. And then
Well, and crucially,
everything
they
will be
definitely
super low.
survive. They 100% survive if they don't take Venture, because
and then you have Venture advantage on your Fiesta player.
yeah, even with the Venture, they only died with 2 creeps on very low HP. So like we're talking very, very small margins here. So you can say with 100% certainty that if they didn't take Venture, they would still be in the game. But then
Yep.
maybe they're so far behind, it's not worth being in the game. Do you know what I mean? So maybe they just had to go for a big risk, knowing it's a big risk, but thinking maybe, if we've got a 1% chance to win, let's take it rather than going for trying to survive but not really trying to win. You're just kind of delaying the loss, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I understand, but I think that in the game state they were in, risking one venture was a great way to return to the game.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this was a pretty interesting game, actually. So we tuned in on just before Wave 4, where we saw King Dans and Widdowson take a ton of king damage. We saw them return the favour on 5, and then we saw Skills and Papai go for this massive send on 7, which they just pretty easily held with maybe the highest Wave 7 value I've ever seen in my 4 or 5 years playing Legion TD2. Widdowson there, 1,148 value built for Wave 7. Pretty impressive stuff there from the Widowman.
World record.
And then these guys just go straight wave 11. So King Dans and Widdowson said, "You guys can't starve us. We're going to starve you." 500 Mythium sends on 11. Skills and Papaya. Okay, they take the risky play. And they quite clearly get punished. And then they're out of the tournament. But King Dans and Widdowson, they will be making it through to day number 2. Big respect, though, to Skills and Papaya for at least giving the tournament frontrunners a run for their money.
Yeah, I mean that's for sure. Bringing them to 3 games. I mean, King Dans and Wilson also brought to 3 games initially, so maybe they are feeling a bit shaky, and maybe we will see them in the ladder after, maybe right now or a bit later. Um, Maybe they're gonna be showing stronger tomorrow, because tomorrow they'll be facing XCon and Shay, and they are no jokes. They did beat them quite often in the finals.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
now it's going to be the semi-final.
Oh, that's going to be an interesting one, actually. So both of the favourites are going to face off in the semis. So only one of them can make it through to the grand. That's certainly going to be an exciting game to watch.
And now the question is it the year of Lucien Drashir?
Oh, it could be. It could be. They've been the bridesmaids so many times. Is it finally their turn to be the bride? Lucien Drashir.
I mean, they need to get through the returning aviator and the math guy.
I think Aviator and Burnt is a really scary team to watch out for. These guys, both of these guys, incredibly strong performances on the ladder. Both very, very smart. Well, apart from Julian, obviously, but Aviator is a very, very smart player. Very, very highly skilled at the game. And I think.
I mean, if your name is really pi squared over 6, then you know they have some knowledge about mathematics.
Yeah, I mean that just means that they're both giga nerds, right? Like it's there's not more to be said about that. But yeah, I mean tomorrow's grand finals is absolutely going to be a really exciting one to watch. So guys in Twitch chat, make sure you are around for that one. I hope you've enjoyed the games today. I certainly have. I hope you've enjoyed the costumes as well. I did enjoy the costume. It's about 1,000,000 degrees on my head, though, so that was a bit of a downside that I didn't foresee. But yeah, it's a bit of fun. It's Pennywise. It's Pennywise. Whee! I'm pleased with myself, you know. So Shadow, massive thank you for joining me on the cast. It's a pleasure as always, my dude. Captain Shadow Sparrow over there.
It was fun to cast here with you. Yeah, we had some very good games too, so that did help.
We had some really good games, actually, really good games. So a pleasure as always, Mr. Shadow. And I have to say, I always give a shout out to the tournament organisers, but this month more than ever, because we had a bit of a malfunction with the check-in bot. So those tournament organisers have been really working overtime there, having to manually check in something like 112 teams we had, plus however many solo sign-ups as well. So yeah, a big shout out to those guys. They put in a ton of work for this October Cup to make sure that everything ran as smoothly as it possibly could. They really do put in the work behind the scenes to keep these tournaments going. And of course, Auto Attack Games, without whom none of this would be possible. Speaking of which, Shadow, have you ever wanted to own a piece of Auto Attack Games merchandise for your very own?
But how can I do that?
Well, Shadow, it's your lucky day, my friend, because Auto Attack, in partnership with Make Ship, are offering a very special limited edition safety mole plushie. Boo-da-doo! Boo-da-doo, mother truckers.
Wow.
Between November 4th and November 25th, you can purchase this one-of-a-kind safety mole plushie. If you don't buy it during this limited time window, it's gone forever. You'll never be able to buy one again. It also comes with a bunch of in-game goodies. There's some premium essence, there's a card, there's access to the campaign, by the way, which is exciting news. That's going to be released in December. Plushie owners will get early access, so that's pretty cool as well. And if you haven't seen the plushie before, well, Auto Attack have kindly given us a little video to preview.
What am I waiting for to get one?
Let's find out! Very, very cool. So make sure, guys, you enter the plushie giveaway. That's exclamation mark plushie in the chat to get all the links you need to enter for your chance to win. And yeah, Shadow, I think we're reaching the end of our cast today on day number 1. So once again, a massive thank you. It's always a pleasure for me to cast with yourself. You really bring a special brand of analysis to the panel, and I very much appreciate that. So thank you once again, Shadow, and everyone on the tournament organizer staff. Shadow, have you got any final words? Maybe an R for the stream before we go?
I mean, I'm not going to start with that because in everything you do, you always miss one person, and I'm very, very disappointed in that.
Oh, tell me, Shadow.
You always miss yourself, and you don't know how much you bring every month, investing all your time into the Nova Cup. Like you're always a permanent caster, and I think Penny needs recognition here more than anyone.
Thank you, my dude. That means a lot. It really does. Yeah, I do it. It's a passion of love. I love the game. I love the competitive scene, and it's a pleasure. It's an honor for me to be able to cast these games more than anything else. So yeah, I really appreciate your kind words, but it's no hard labor for me. This is absolutely what I want to be doing. So thank you very much, and yeah.
And then R.
Amazing. Okay, guys, make sure you're around. European people, by the way. I know there's one or two of you there in the chat. Make sure you're aware of the clocks going back, because we are starting 1 hour earlier with the change to the clock. So for NA or other time zones, there's no change for you guys.
Yeah.
But everybody in Europe, make sure you realise the games will start 1 hour earlier thanks to the clocks changing. So yeah.
So apart from the 1 and 2 Europeans out there, out of the 187 viewers, no changes for you.
Awesome. Okay, make sure you're around, guys. We've got a very, very exciting final days for you tomorrow. And on that note, Penny and Shadowwings are out. Goodbye.